Chapter 29-31. Dead silence. The entire divine elephant city fell into dead silence. A moment later, the artifact spirit's voice rang out again. Lord of 6 stars, may I ask if you wish to take back the rights to use the chaotic tower and 6 stars pagoda? Under the watchful eyes of tens of thousands. On the chaotic tower, the green-clothed, blood-stained girl spat out 2 simple words: withdraw. Holy shit. Liang Chendajuan, fuck. The ancient voice laughed absent-mindedly. It was filled with gratification, anticipation, and a trace of nostalgia. I respectfully invite the Lord of 6 stars, Yi Liangqin, to receive the chaotic tower and the 6 stars pagoda. At this point, this old man's mission in the cultivation continent has been completed. I will now retire and return to the cultivation continent. Lord of 6 stars, please take care of yourself and ascend to the immortal world as soon as possible. I will wait for you at the cloud summit of heaven and earth. As soon as he finished speaking, the divine elephant city shook violently again. The 6-star pagoda in the east seemed to be uprooted by a huge force, swaying as it flew towards the girl on top of the chaotic pagoda. A huge shadow shrouded the dumbfounded crowd below. Even when the dust on the 6 stars pagoda fell down and hit their faces, these people did not react at all. As they get closer, the huge 6-star pagoda becomes smaller and smaller, until it becomes the size of a palm, and Mayan puts it into her sleeve. Her body swayed, and her vision blurred. She almost couldn't stand steadily. Mu Yan knows that this time, her injuries are very, very serious. It was not something that could be recovered in a day. Entering the divine elephant city was like stepping into a real dragon's pool and tiger's den. The slightest carelessness would lead to eternal damnation. But fortunately, she won the bet. At the same time, Yi Liangqin couldn't hide her identity anymore. Sure enough, after a brief moment of absent-mindedness, the entire divine elephant city was boiling. No. They were going crazy. Especially the Liangqin army, and the city-toppling army. Just 2 hours ago, they were still arguing over who was more powerful between Yi Liangqin and Jun Mayan. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the supporters of both sides were enemies. But now, the 6 stars pagoda's artifact spirit was clearly telling them. Yi Liangqin and Jun Mayan are the same person. Had they gone mad, or had the world gone mad? Some of Liangqin's soldiers couldn't help but fly up to the sky and ask loudly, Jun Mayan, are you really Yi Liangqin? Mayan nods. The Yi Liangqin who slaughtered the Linglong, Nirvana, and Ling Xiao lists. It's me. The Yi Liangqin who became the champion of Flourishing Heavenly Lights finals as a talisman master. It's me. More and more Liangqin's army flew up and asked questions one after another with trembling voices. The one who slaughtered the Dragon Ascension 6 lists, trampled all the young talents at the Dear Morn banquet, and became the unprecedented Lord of 6 stars, Yi Liangqin. It's me. Yi Liangqin, the one who obtained the unique inheritance of the sacred ancestor Herb King, slaughtered all 4 ranks of the alchemy competition, and made a king pellet in the alchemy competition. It's me. A female cultivator took a step forward, her eyes filled with tears as she sobbed, the one who can clearly refine the most expensive talismans and pellets in the world, but insists on selling them to Liangqin's army at a low price. The one who always stands up for us when we are wronged and bullied. The best god in the world, is it really, you? The corner of Mayan's mouth, without a trace of blood, slowly hooks up, it's me. I am Jun Mayan, and also Yi Liangqin. Chapter 29-32. 1 second to remember, LoveNet, providing you with exciting reading. I never had the chance to use my real face and voice to personally say something to you. Thank you. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for being willing to trust me, protect me, overcome all obstacles for me, and never abandon me even though we've met by chance despite being separated by thousands of miles. Mayan's gaze turned to Devastating Beauty Army. Thank you too. When we are being condemned by everyone and besieged on all sides, you are still willing to trust me and speak up for me. The pale-faced girl raises the corner of her mouth, revealing a faint smile. This smile is neither bright nor charming, it even carries a fragile paleness that seems like it could shatter at any time. However, this smile is so warm and pure. Like a stream, quietly, without warning, flowing into the bottom of people's hearts. From then on, they will depend on each other, never to be forgotten. Some sentimental female cultivators can't help but burst into tears, choking with sobs. As for the cultivators who had nothing to do with the city-toppling army, and the Liangshan army, most of them were in a frenzy. No. Wait. Why are they crying at this time? Shouldn't the most important thing right now be, how can Yi Liangchen and Jun Mayan be the same person? Damn, Yi Liangchen was Yi Liangchen and Jun Mayan was Jun Mayan. I already felt that these two evildoers are ridiculously strong. Now, these two evildoers have actually merged into one. How are we ordinary cultivators supposed to survive? Wait, let me do the math. Yi Liangchen can draw talismans, concoct pills, and slaughter all the people in the world. Mu Yan can assist, heal, and is proficient in formations. She can even kill a tribulation-passing elder at the leaving aperture stage. Now you're telling me that these two are the same person? Excuse me, is there anything in this world that Jun Mayan can't do? Damn, even if you tell me that Jun Mayan can marry the Emperor and young Master Yun Shao, I will believe it. Hearing the exclamations of the surrounding people, and then looking at the girl standing on the chaotic tower. Chu Xinyan's face alternates between green and white. How could he think that Jun Mayan is actually Yi Liangchen? No, it's not that he didn't think about it. Actually, Jun Mayan and Yi Liangchen have always been connected. But as soon as this thought popped into everyone's mind, it was immediately eliminated. Because these two people were really too powerful. Moreover, it was powerful in a completely different way. The appearance of a monster in the world shocked everyone. The appearance of two was already shocking enough. But what if these two monsters combined into one and were the same person? No one even dared to think about it. Chu Xinyan clenched his fists tightly. He had actually let Yi Liangchen off just now, and missed the best opportunity to obtain the Chaotic Pagoda and 6 Stars Pagoda. How could he accept this? Chu Xinyan soars into the sky and says in a clear voice, Jun Mayan, judging from your current appearance, I'm afraid that you can't even gather spiritual power. Even if you manage to escape into the Chaotic Tower, I'm afraid that the injuries on your body will be too much for you to recover from. Young Master Destiny and Sect Master Jing both said that you unfettered 7 are demons, but I feel that there are still some doubts about this matter. How about this, you follow this Marquis back to the Dingwa Manor. This Marquis guarantees that I will not let anyone harm you and will help you find out the truth of the matter. Mayan sneers at him, but doesn't say anything. Her line of sight sweeps over Ning Su. She sees that Ning Su is also staring at her coldly. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2933. That pair of peach blossom eyes that were similar to hers were filled with killing intent and hatred. It was as if he would not rest until he tore her into pieces. Mu Yan's lips curled up, her eyes cold. Ning Su regarded the Xiaoyao 7 as demons and wanted to kill them as soon as possible. She also wanted to settle the grudge with Ning Su for her parents being hunted down. The two of them had finally reached the point where they would not rest until one of them was dead. Chu Xinyan saw that Mu Yan did not even bother to pay attention to him, his eyes filled with a malicious light. Jun Mu Yan. With us 6 tribulation cultivators by your side, do you really think that you can escape by relying on your own strength and this chaotic tower? I advise you not to be stubborn and obediently return with this hoe. Perhaps there will be a chance of survival. Mu Yan's gaze finally fell on him, her lips curling into a mocking smile. Chu Xinyan, you've been shouting these words ever since I appeared. You're not tired of saying it, but I'm tired of hearing it. Chu Xinyan's face instantly twisted. He raised his hand and a bolt of lightning fiercely struck the chaotic tower. The chaotic tower did not budge. But Mu Yan's body swayed, almost falling down from the tower. Miss. At this time, Chu Tianyu, who had just climbed to the top of the tower, quickly supported her. It was clammy and cold to the touch. Chu Tianyu's heart trembled fiercely. He felt a bone-piercing pain and guilt. Mu Yan forced herself to open her eyes and look at him. Everyone entered the chaotic tower. Chu Tianyu composed himself, suppressing the wetness that welled up in his eyes. He hoarsely said, "Yes, everyone on the cloud carpet, including the living corpses, have entered the chaotic tower." Mu Yan's eyes revealed relief. But as soon as she relaxed, the blood in her body surged and she spat out another mouthful of blood. Miss. Chu Tianyu's hand trembled, wanting to wipe the blood from her mouth, but stopped in midair, unable to move. Mu Yan's fingernails dug deep into her palms. At this moment, she could only use the pain to maintain her consciousness, and then slowly mobilize the nearly dried-up divine sense in her body. Tianyu. Chu Xinyan's voice sounded again. Only, compared to the harsh words he had when he wanted to suck Chu Tianyu dry, he now sounded a bit more kind and gentle. Tianyu, in this past year, you've been living a miserable life outside. Father has always missed you. Now that the Dingguo Marquis residence only has you as the sole son, how could father bear to let you die? I guarantee that as long as you persuade the 7 carefree sons to surrender, you will still be the heir of the Marquis of Dingguo. You will be high and mighty and have limitless glory. Chu Tianyu almost vomited when he heard these disgusting words. Was there anyone more disgusting than Chu Xinyan in this world? Even a vicious tiger would not eat its cubs. But what about this man? He gave birth to one bloodline after another in order to absorb their essence, blood and souls to prolong his own life. Such a person didn't even deserve to be a human, let alone a father. Chu Tianyu was about to retort. But he hears Mayan's low voice in his ear. Chu Tianyu, I still need half an incense stick of time to stall them. Chu Tianyu clenched his fists, his lips trembling uncontrollably. He knew that Mayan could no longer use her spiritual power and divine sense. Otherwise, her newly advanced leaving body stage would collapse. She might even die from the collapse of her primordial spirit. However, what position did he have to stop Mayan? He could save the 7 carefree sons, but could he save teacher and student Longting? Could he repel Chu Xinyan and Ningsu? Could he control the chaotic tower? No, he couldn't do anything. Chapter 29-34. The only thing he could do was to watch helplessly as Mayan sacrificed herself to save everyone's lives. Tianyu. Did you hear what your father said? Not getting a response, Chu Xinyan's voice impatiently rises a few octaves. Even though Chu Tianyu resisted him. But in Chu Xinyan's eyes, he was still that yes man from before, the heir who allowed himself to be needed as he pleased. A heir who was inferior to even a servant in the Dingguo Houfu. The previous resistance was only because he had escaped from the Dingguo Houfu for a year, that's all. Chu Xinyan was angry because of this, but he didn't really care about this son of his. You haven't been in the Fu for a year, have you already forgotten the consequences of rebelling against your father? Ah, and your mother, do you really think that if you take her away and hide her, I won't be able to find her? Sure enough, hearing Chu Xinyan's words, Chu Tianyo's body shudders, his face showing a panicked expression. Father. He trembles, I know I was wrong. Father, you can punish me however you want, but please don't hurt mother. Chu Xinyan chuckles, a proud expression flashing across his face. Miao Yu flies forward, chuckling, Your Highness, it's not enough for you to just admit that you were wrong. At least you have to atone for it, right? Chu Tianyu, atone for it. That's right. Miao Yu's eyes sweep over Mayan, who seems to be teasing him with her eyes closed, the jealousy in his eyes growing stronger. June Mayan is seriously injured at the moment and has no power to resist. But she is holed up in the chaotic tower, and none of us can do anything to her. Right now, only the heir is in the chaotic tower. As long as you bring June Mayan out of the chaotic tower, it would be a great merit for all the righteous cultivators of the continent. At that time, the Marquis will naturally forgive you. Marquis, don't you think so? Chu Xinyan nods, that's right. Tianyu, you should know what to do, right? Chu Tianyo's face shows a struggling expression, but Miss June saved my life, how can I repay kindness with enmity? Does the heir not know that June Mayan is a demon? Everyone has the right to punish her. If you hand him over, it will be called putting righteousness before family. Everyone in the world will be grateful to you. Who will blame you for being ungrateful? Su Qianquan also took a step forward, his eyes shining as he looked at the chaotic tower that pierced through the clouds. Suppressing the surge in his voice, he says, What's more, we only want to capture June Mayan and clearly investigate whether or not she's a demon. If she's really innocent, then what you're doing is proving her innocence. She'll be grateful to you, so why would she blame you? Chu Tianyo's expression became more and more hesitant as he listened to everyone's persuasion. From time to time, he would glance at Mayan. The pale girl's aura was weak, as if she didn't know what was happening outside. God bless you. Chu Xinyan once again raised his voice, his tone somber and sinister, You'd better think clearly, is your mother's life more important, or is June Mayan's life more important? As he spoke, he released the pressure from his body. It could be said that Chu Tianyu had grown up under the tyranny of Chu Xinyan. He knew all too well how to destroy his son's psychological defenses. Sure enough, under Chu Xinyan's threat, Chu Tianyu's knees soften, and he almost kneels down. His voice is full of fear and pleading, Father, please calm your anger. How could this child dare to disobey father's orders? Please wait, this child will take June Mayan and leave the chaotic tower. Saying that, he turns around and walks towards Mayan. Chapter 29:35. Saying that, he turned and walked towards Mu Yen. Chu Xinyan smiled in satisfaction and said, Good, this is my, Chu Xinyan's, obedient son. Seeing that you are so obedient, I will let you die a little more quickly. Seeing that Chu Tianyu was really walking towards Mu Yen step by step. The Liangchen Great Army and Beautiful City Army below were angry and anxious. Chu Tianyu, if you dare to hurt a hair of Great God Yi, I will fight with you. Chu Tianyu, you are Fuchin, right? Great God Yi trusted you so much that she let you manage the #1 shop in the world. Is this how you repay her? Knowing that Mu Yen was Yi Liangchen, it was very easy to guess the true identity of Fuchin. And during this period of time, the Liangchen Great Army and the #1 shop in the world were almost all managed by Fuchin. Fuchin's strong management ability, quick thinking, and loyal attitude towards Yi Liangchen had obtained the unanimous praise of the Liangchen Great Army. Many people had already regarded him as the unique leader of the Liangchen Great Army. But today, this leader was going to do something that betrayed their idol. How could the Liangshan Great Army endure this? Some people were so angry that they had already forgotten that they could not approach the chaotic tower without permission. They desperately soared into the sky, wanting to stop Chu Tianyu. However, before they could get close to the chaotic tower, Chu Xinyan coldly snorted and suddenly released the pressure of the tribulation stage. These cultivators that flew into the sky were at most nascent soul stage. How could they withstand the pressure of a tribulation cultivator? Each of them could not even make a sound before they vomited blood and fell from the sky. Chu Xinyan's confidant shouted angrily, "Are you all crazy? Do you want to go against the north-ranking marquis residents? Even if you don't want your own head, are you not afraid of implicating your sect and family?" As soon as these words came out, the cultivators below all changed their expressions. No matter how angry and worried they were, they did not dare to step forward. Miao Yu chuckled and said, "What Liangshan Great Army, beautiful city army, they are just a group of mobs joining in the fun. Now that things have come to this, don't we still have to go our separate ways?" Could it be that Jun Mayan really thinks that at this critical moment of life and death, these people would really risk their lives for her? He. Chu Tianyu presses his hand on Mayan's shoulder and says in a low voice, "Jun Mayan, don't blame me, I also have no other way out. Now, please come with me." Mu Yan suddenly opens her eyes and looks at Chu Tianyu in shock. She opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but her face alternated between red and white, and not a single sound came out. Chu Tianyu gently hooks up his lips, his voice soft and slow, "Jun Mayan, don't struggle anymore. You don't have the slightest bit of spiritual power now, you simply don't have the power to resist. I advise you to obediently follow me back to North Dingho Manor." Outside the chaotic tower, Chu Xinyan revealed a satisfied and anxious expression. He was just waiting for Chu Tianyu to bring them out. From then on, the Chaotic Pagoda and 6 Stars Pagoda would be his. However, no one noticed that Chu Tianyu's face was getting paler and paler. His originally youthful and handsome face was slowly aging, and fine lines were creeping up his face. The black hair on his temples was dyed white at a speed visible to the naked eye. Mu Yan's whole body trembled, her expression anxious. She desperately wanted to stop him, but because her body was too weak, she was unable to move. Chu Tianyu lowered his eyes to look at her, there seemed to be a sparkling and translucent light flickering in them. Chapter 29:36. Don't worry, as long as you're obedient, everything will get better. Chu Tianyu's voice grew weaker and weaker. Miao Yu suddenly felt that something was wrong. He went around to take a look, and his expression immediately changed. Not good. Marquis, he's transferring Jun Mayan's soul essence. An origin soul was formed by the condensation of one's essence, blood and divine soul. Without a source spirit, it was equivalent to the aging of one's bones, the loss of one's lifespan, and the loss of one's talent. It could be said that no one would easily transfer their soul to someone else. In fact, an origin soul was not something that could be easily given away. Mu Yan is a Shin musician and can do it through the benevolence of the saint. Di Mingshue's cultivation had reached the transforming strength stage, which could be realized through the void spirit ring. As for the ordinary cultivators of the cultivation continent, even if they were willing to give up their own lives in exchange for the lives of others, it would still be difficult for them to do so. However, Chu Tianyu was different. From the moment he entered the Jidun stage, his source spirit was continuously taken away by Chu Xinyan. Then, he would spend a long time enduring all kinds of torment and pain to make up for it bit by bit. He wasn't a doctor, and he didn't have the ability to channel his god power into the void spirit ring. However, the daily torture allowed him to feel the existence of the primordial spirit in his body. As long as he could sense it, he could forcibly withdraw it. And the price of forcefully withdrawing was a bone-piercing pain, as well as the rapid and irremediable decline of his body. Chu Xinyan immediately rushed over to take a look, and immediately roared in anger, "Little bastard! How dare you trick me!" With a swing of the sword, lightning crackled as it smashed against the chaotic tower. Everyone thought that this attack would be easily deflected by the barrier of the chaotic tower. Unexpectedly, there was a loud bang. The barrier actually exploded, and even the chaotic pagoda shook from the impact. Jun Mayan and Chu Tianyu, who were at the top of the tower, were swept by the sword light and almost fell down. What's going on? What about the defensive barrier of the chaotic tower? Wouldn't the people who approached the chaotic tower be crushed into dregs? Chu Xinyan was also stunned. Even the anger of wanting to kill Chu Tianyu was thrown to the back of his mind. What the hell is going on? Jing Tianyi frowned as if he was thinking about something. Suddenly, his complexion changed greatly, and he anxiously shouted, Quickly stop Mayan, quickly kill her. She wants to control the chaotic tower, to escape. Control the chaotic pagoda to escape. How was this possible? Before the Lord of Six Stars had appeared, the chaotic tower had remained hidden in the sky above Dragon Soar. After recognizing him as its master, it landed in the divine statue city. Chu Xinyan had thought of 10,000 ways to uproot the chaotic pagoda and take it for himself. He even ordered people to dig from the ground, wanting to dig away the entire foundation of the chaotic tower. In the end, he discovered that the foundation of the chaotic tower was connected to the God-refining precipice. Trying to pry it open was no different from daydreaming. Even if Jun Mayan was the owner of the chaotic tower, how could she move the God-refining precipice? But what about the previous Six Stars pagoda? Before Yap Liangchen appeared, who would have thought that the Six Stars tower, which had been standing for thousands of years, would recognize its master? Who would have thought that the Six Stars pagoda could be taken away by someone? The minds of Chu Xinyan and the others were churning, but their hands were not slow at all. The moment Jing Tianyi shouted, Chu Xinyan had already rushed towards Mayan. Want to run? Let's see if you can escape from the palms of this marquis. Mayan took a deep breath and pushed Chu Tianyu away. Gritting her teeth, she said, I'll deal with you in a while. Go back to the tower immediately. Chapter 29:37. As she speaks, Mayan has already taken out the Tian Mo Qin. Right now, she still doesn't have the slightest bit of spiritual power in her Dantian. She can only manipulate the Tian Mo Qin with internal force. The power that internal force can exert from the Tian Mo Qin is less than 1/10 of the spiritual force. But she doesn't care about it. With Mayan's current cultivation, the chaotic tower can only accommodate less than 1,000 cultivators. But she has stuffed tens of thousands of people and tens of thousands of living corpses inside. It can be said that the chaotic tower is consuming the life of its master, Mayan, every moment. And she still has to manipulate the chaotic tower to escape. If Chu Tianyu had not given his soul essence to her, she would have already fallen. Jun Mayan. A hand suddenly presses on her shoulder. Mayan turns to look and sees Chu Tianyu's slightly aged face smiling at her. The cracked lips open and close, spitting out soft, hoarse words. Jun Mayan, I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. Also, thank you for letting me meet you in this life, letting my hopeless hell-like life be rejuvenated. I, Chu Tianyu, spent the first half of my life muddle-headed, like a nightmare. The second half of my life is so fortunate, to be able to live for you, to die for you. Mayan is startled. Chu Tianyu, you still haven't entered. Before she could finish speaking, she has already been forcefully pushed through the window into the chaotic tower. What follows is a large amount of soul once again pouring into her body. The dried-up Dantian seems to be moisturized by the sweet rain. The silent chaotic tower began to absorb energy from her, its owner, and began to faithfully execute the orders she had given it. Mayan's face doesn't have the least bit of joy. She pushes away the person supporting her and suddenly throws herself to the window. She sees that the grizzled man in the sky pouncing towards Chu Xinyan, tightly hugging him. Thick purple lightning descends from the sky, striking his body. In the lightning, Mayan can only see Chu Xinyan's fierce and angry face. And when Chu Tianyu turns his head, his lips curl up into a warm smile. If only he wasn't born in the Dingwa manor, and had done so many wrong things, how good would that be? If only, from the beginning, he had been an ordinary student of Longting, how good would that be? However, there are no ifs in this life, but it's enough to fulfill one's wishes, and die without regrets. Chu Tianyu. Mu Yan wanted to rush out of the chaotic tower, but the entire tower shook violently. No, not the entire wizard tower. The entire divine statue city, and even the entire purple cloud world, shook violently. The towering chaotic tower slowly rose into the sky. Originally, there was no wind or cloud in the clear sky, but suddenly, there was a gust of wind. The cultivators standing on the ground were blown away by the wind. Even the buildings that had stood for thousands of years in the statue of God's city were shaking non-stop. Everyone raised their heads in shock and looked towards the eastern sky. There was a translucent wall of air flow there, which was called the God-refining precipice. It was this God-refining precipice that separated the purple cloud domain from the azure-blue domain, green cloud domain, and Minlu domain. It allowed the cultivators of the purple cloud realm to enjoy the unique vital energy of heaven and earth. Thus, he stood at the peak of the four realms, and no one could shake him. But at this moment, this wall of air seemed to be pulled by something and shook violently. Then, several cracks gradually appeared on the wall of air currents, becoming deeper and wider. Rip! Everyone's ears seemed to hear the sound of something being torn apart. This God-refining precipice, that traversed the entire Xiuzhen continent, was forcibly torn open. The rich spiritual energy that originally belonged to the purple cloud realm, as if it was swallowed by a whirlpool, crazily rushing towards the neighboring azure wave realm. Chapter 29:38. Chu Xinyan flings away the dying Chu Tianyu, his face full of shock and anger. How is this possible? How could the God refinement precipice be broken? This is absolutely impossible. Chaotic Tower. Jun Mayan, return my chaotic tower to me. Chu Xinyan roars, two blood-red banners appear in his hands, and he throws them in the direction of the chaotic tower. As soon as the banners appear, the raging wind is dyed with a strong stench of blood. A sinister aura, like that of hell, pervades below, causing people to tremble from the depths of their souls. However, before the banners can touch the chaotic tower, a door of light appears in the sky, directly sweeping the chaotic tower inside. The raging wind slowly stops. The sky is restored to the clear blue sky without wind or clouds. However, looking towards the east, the translucent wall of air that traverses the entire Xiuzhen continent has disappeared without a trace. God refinement precipice. God refinement precipice is gone. The spiritual energy around us has decreased by a lot. How could this be? On the Divine Elephant City's plaza, many people have already gathered. These people are mostly the heads, patriarchs, and elders of large sects and families. They look at the God refinement precipice that has already disappeared. Each and every one of their faces is so ugly that it could drip water. The disappearance of the God refinement precipice means that the Ziyun realm will gradually lose its unique position. On the contrary, all the cultivators and spiritual beasts of the three realms, Kanglan realm, Azure Cloud realm, and Minlu realm, will receive the nourishment of boundless spiritual energy and grow at a high speed. These large sects and families are all settled in the Ziyun realm. They have long been used to the days of being high and mighty, looking down on the other three realms. Now that the God refinement precipice has disappeared, their sense of superiority will also gradually disappear. How can they endure this? What is going on? How could the God refinement precipice disappear? North placating Marquis, Sect Master Miao, what happened here just now? Chu Xinyan tightly grips the banners in his hands, his expression sinister, and the veins on his hands bulging. Miao Yu's eyes turn, and he sighs. It was Jun Mayan who destroyed the God refinement precipice. What? The devil cultivator that was recently chased by the North. How is this possible? Even if she's a fiendish cultivator, she's merely a little lass in her early 20s. How can she destroy the God refinement precipice? Miao Yu said, you might not know this, but Mayan isn't just Mayan. She's the Lord of 6 Stars, the Medicine King's successor, Yi Liangqin. I'm sure all of you are aware that Yi Liangqin is the owner of the Chaotic Tower. Just now, she was unhappy that we labeled her as an evil demon, and actually controlled the Chaotic Pagoda to directly destroy the God refinement precipice and escaped. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Jun Mayan is Yap Liangqin. How is this possible? Preposterous. Evil demons are evil demons indeed. To actually do such a heartless thing. These 7 little bastards have turned the entire Purple Cloud world upside down in this 1 year, and now they even dare to destroy the God refinement precipice. They're clearly looking down on the cultivators of our Purple Cloud realm. Chu Xinyan slowly swallowed the anger in his heart. Only then did he raise his head, look at everyone present, and say in a clear voice, everyone, please listen to this marquee words. The unfettered 7 devils are perverse, vicious, and extremely evil. They indiscriminately kill the innocent, and have long committed numerous crimes in our Purple Cloud realm. Now, they even destroyed the God refinement precipice, putting us Purple Cloud realm cultivators in an abyss of suffering. Especially that demonish Jun Mayan. She has the supreme divine weapons, the 6 Stars Pagoda and the Chaotic Pagoda. That zither can even control the corpse puppets, killing thousands of people invisibly. Chapter 2939. Remember LoveNet in 1 second, providing you with interesting reading. Even this marquis, young Master Jueming, Headmaster Jing, so many cultivators working together could not get rid of her. One Jun Mayan is already so difficult to deal with. What if the other 6 demons are added in? What if she controls even more corpses and tames even more subordinates? At that time, would there still be a place for us cultivators of the Purple Cloud realm? If this kind of demon is not killed, how can there be peace in the world? How can we cultivate in peace and ascend? Chu Xinyan's words caused everyone's expressions to change, finding it difficult to calm down. Xue Minglang cupped his hands. Marquis, it's not that we don't want to kill the demon. It's just that this Jun Mayan has controlled the Chaotic Tower to escape. Where can we find her? Even if we find her, I'm afraid we won't be able to break the shackles of the Chaotic Tower. Su Qiankuan said, I don't know what the Marquis thinks. As long as the Marquis can help us kill the demon and take revenge, we are naturally willing to unite and listen to the Marquis's orders. Chu Xinyan slightly lowered his eyes, hiding the sinister scheming in them. This Marquis suggests that we establish the Demon Extermination Alliance. We will gather all the forces of the Purple Cloud realm and vow to eradicate the unfettered 7 demons, returning peace to the cultivation continent. This is a good idea. The sects of the Purple Cloud realm have stood for thousands of years. How can we allow a few bastards to trample and humiliate us? We must establish the Demon Extermination Alliance. Miao Yu chuckled. I think the Marquis should be the leader of the Demon Extermination Alliance. Dingwa Marquis's cultivation is top-notch and he is a person of virtue and prestige. It would be best for Dingbei Marquis to be the leader. I feel that young Master Jueming is the best candidate. All these years, young Master Jueming has been running around to kill the demon. Chu Xinyan's eyes flashed. He smiled and walked in front of Ning Su. He cupped his hands. Although this marquis is a few years older, in terms of cultivation and experience, I do not dare to be compared to young Master Jueming. The position of the Demon Extermination Alliance's leader belongs to young Master Jueming. Ning Su looked at him coldly, his eyes filled with disgust. You think I don't recognize the Blood Soul banner in your hand? Only Chu Xinyan and Jing Tianyi, who was standing beside Ning Su, heard these words. Jing Tianyi was startled and looked at Chu Xinyan in astonishment. The Blood Soul banner, as the name suggested, was a banner that was slowly nourished by the blood and souls of living people. After years of nourishment, the grade of the Blood Soul banner would become higher and higher. In the end, its power would even far surpass that of ordinary divine weapons. As for the two banners that Chu Xinyan had just thrown out to attack the chaotic tower, the moment they appeared, a bloody stench surged out, and a ghostly chi filled the air. If he wanted to nourish it, he would have to absorb millions of souls. Such a thing, of course, was a demonic creature. And what kind of Tao did Chu Xinyan, who used a demonic item like the Blood Soul banner, cultivate? In addition to what Chu Tianyu had said before, Chu Xinyan had absorbed the soul of his own children to extend his lifespan. Ning Su's hand was pressed against the demon-slaying sword, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Depraved beasts like you who cultivate the path of demons deserve it. Die! Chu Xinyan's expression changed greatly, and he hurriedly tried to retreat. However, the pressure emanating from Ning Su's body was too terrifying. He couldn't even move a single step. Cold sweat dripped down from his forehead. Chu Xinyan suppressed the grievance and fear in his heart. He lowered his voice and said, Young Master Jueming, if you kill this hoe at this time, wouldn't you be letting Mayan live freely? You and I have the same goal now. Keep this hoe alive. This hoe will definitely let you kill Jun Mayan with your own hands to vent the hatred in your heart. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 2940. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. Ning Su's fingers trembled. But he quickly pulled out the demon-slaying sword. Chu Xinyan was greatly shocked, and was about to resist regardless of everything. Jing Tianyi suddenly reached out to stop Ning Su, saying softly, Ninggongzi, don't be impatient. You can kill the other demonic cultivators whenever you want, but right now we need North Placating Marquis to lend us a hand. Ning Su frowned, clearly disapproving. But his movements eventually stopped. Chu Xinyan let out a long sigh of relief, cold sweat rolling down his forehead. He looked at Jing Tianyi gratefully. Jing Tianyi smiled and continued, This old man knows that Ninggongzi is very powerful and doesn't need the help of others. But Jun Mayan is too sinister and cunning, and her methods are endless. Even Gongzi was almost seriously injured by her. What's more, Ninggongzi, you might as well think about it. How long has it been since the Xiaoyao 7 shocked the world, but their strength has already advanced by leaps and bounds. If we give them more time to grow, or that young Master Yun Xiao who protects the Xiaoyao sect comes back, can we really kill them? Ning Su's pupils suddenly shrank. The humiliation, resentment, unwillingness, and madness in his eyes surged like stormy waves. He remembered the time when he fought with Luo Yunxiao, and how he couldn't do anything to her even after using all his strength. He also remembered the talisman that Mayan took out, which he couldn't resist. Although he didn't want to admit it, he clearly realized that Jun Mayan had Luo Yunxiao by her side, as well as a mysterious person that he hadn't even seen. He wasn't a match for either of them. If he couldn't kill the Xiaoyao 7 demons as soon as possible, he could only watch helplessly as Jun Mayan abandoned him. Just like back then. No. He was no longer the Ning Su from back then. If he had to watch Jun Mayan fall into the demonic path and abandon him, he would rather take his head with his own hands. Swish. The demon-slaying sword returned to its sheath. Ning Su looked at Chu Xinyan with cold eyes. You better find Jun Mayan as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will let you know that under my demon-slaying sword, all demonic cultivators will never be able to reincarnate. Saying that, Ning Su turned and flew away. Chu Xinyan was pressured by the pressure. His knees went soft and he almost knelt down. Only after Jing Tianyi supported him did he manage to stand up. Chu Xinyan withdrew the violence and hatred in his eyes. He cupped his hands at Jing Tianyi and said, "Many thanks to Sect Master Jing for saving my life." Jing Tianyi chuckled and said, "Marquis, you're too polite." The unfettered 7 devils were personally exposed by the Muddy Moon Pavilion. Killing the 7 demons and taking back the inheritance and the divine weapon of the Muddy Moon Pavilion is also what the Muddy Moon Pavilion desires the most. The Marquis has proposed to establish the Demon Extermination Alliance. I would like to contribute as well. Chu Xinyan's pupils constricted as he suddenly understood Jing Tianyi's intention. Jing Tianyi wanted the position of the Alliance Master of the Devil-Slaying Alliance. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that the Demon Extermination Alliance was only here to kill the unfettered 7 demons on the surface. But in reality, whoever became the leader of the Alliance would have control over all the major sects in the Purple Cloud realm. From then on, he was high and mighty, and his authority was monstrous. The Bathing Moon Pavilion might seem like a humble abode in the northern continent, indifferent to fame and fortune. He didn't expect him to be so ambitious. Chu Xinyan proposed to establish the Demon Extermination Alliance, because he wanted to stand at the peak of power. How could he be willing to be intercepted by Jing Tianyi? But Jing Tianyi seemed to have seen through Chu Tianyu's thoughts and chuckled. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the Zii website. Chapter 2941. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, to provide you with exciting reading. Since the main purpose of the Demon Slaying Alliance is to kill demons, we must thoroughly investigate it. If there are scum of the demon path in the Alliance, it won't be good. Marquis, don't you think so? Chu Xinyan's face alternated between green and white. In the end, he could only grit his teeth and say, Headmaster Jing is of noble character and unquestionable integrity. The position of the leader of the Demon-Slaying Alliance must belong to you. The chaotic pagoda smashed onto the peak of the Heavenly Phoenix mountain range. Everyone in the pagoda was in a daze because of the violent tremors, and it took them a long time to recover. One by one, they rushed to the window and looked out. This is the peak of the Heavenly Phoenix mountain range. Rarely do people set foot here. Did we just escape? Sob, 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 I thought I was dead this time. Chu Xinyan is really a fucking piece of trash. I also thought that Long Ting wouldn't be able to escape this time. I was already prepared to die. I didn't think that Great God Jun, no, Great God Yi would actually come to save us. Isn't the most unbelievable thing that Yap Liangchen and Jun Mayan are the same person? When I entered the chaotic tower unscathed, I was completely dumbfounded. Having escaped from death, the teachers and students of the Soaring Dragon Academy came before Mu Yan and bowed. Thank you, Great God Jun, for saving our lives. We are willing to follow you to the end of our lives and repay you with our broken bones. The villagers of Yuanhua village and Lin Xiaomin's family also knelt down. Even the living corpses hidden in the black fog rushed out, howling, and then ran back. They seemed to be kneeling, but also seemed to be roaring along. Their shouts reverberated throughout the entire chaotic tower. Their blood was boiling, and they were impassioned. But these voices seemed to be very, very far away, dissipating in his ears. Mu Yan looks out the window, lost in thought. Kong Yuanzhou's eyes were red as he stepped forward and bowed deeply. "Thank you, Miss June, for saving my life. You don't have to be too sad. Tian Yu was just trying to be benevolent. He made a sacrifice, so he definitely doesn't want Miss June to feel sad for him." "Miss June, you. Miss June." Kong Yuanzhou's voice suddenly rose, startling everyone. Mu Yan's body swayed and slowly fell down. Sun Yuanzhou hurriedly steps forward, wanting to support her, but before he can touch Mayan, a hand reached out from the side and took over his action. Yun Ruhan. The first person to support Mu Yan was Yun Ruhan, the eldest disciple of the Xiaoyao school. He woke up from his deep sleep, still in a daze. Just now, he caught a glimpse of Mayan from the corner of his eye and instinctively rushed over to support his little junior sister. However, what he felt was a bone-chilling coldness. "Little junior sister." Yun Ruhan looked down in a daze. The girl in his arms had a pale complexion and was riddled with scars. Her dress had long been dyed red with blood. His hand, which was supposed to be as white as jade and able to hold the sword like the wind, was now completely broken and hung powerlessly by his side. Yun Ruhan considered herself a calm and steady person, but when she saw this scene, her eyes instantly reddened. "Little junior sister, who injured you like this?" As he spoke, Chu Moli, Ling Yuma, Ling Yuxing and Lan Luoyu, who were on the ground, also woke up. Looking at the unconscious Mayan, he felt his anger rush to the top, almost losing his mind. Ling Yuma pulled Wen Huanglang's collar and said sternly, "Speak. What happened after the battle outside the unclean abyss? Who in the world injured my junior sister to this extent?" Wen Huanglang didn't dare to delay and hurriedly recounted everything that happened during this period of time. After listening to the narration, the bodies of the 6 people couldn't help but tremble. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2942. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. How could they have thought that in the time they were unconscious from exhaustion, little junior sister had already experienced so many disasters? Ning Su, Jing Tianyi, Chu Xinyan, and that sanctimonious cultivator from the Xian world. They've really gone too far. When Huanglang wiped his tears and said, "Fortunately, you all woke up safely. These 2 days, Miss June has been very worried, fearing that you would suffer irreversible injuries." Ling Yuma took the unconscious Mayan from Yun Ruhan's hands, feeling the coldness in her hands and the sticky bloodstains on her dress. The rims of her eyes reddened. Why haven't we woken up yet? How could they only wake up now? They actually let little junior sister bear so much by herself. Chu Moli gently stroked his knee, suddenly saying in a hoarse voice, "Little junior sister treated me." When Huanglang nodded, Miss June said that the others were just exhausted. Even if she didn't treat them, they would recover on their own. But Chu Gongzi and Lan Gongzi, you used a power that shouldn't belong to the Shuzhen continent. The backlash you received was several times that of the others. If you weren't treated, I'm afraid your lives would be in danger. So, even if Miss June had already overdrawn her spiritual power, and there were countless pursuers behind her, she was still on the 7-colored cloud carpet, as when Huanglang spoke, he couldn't help but choke. His feelings for Mayan were different from the others present. In his heart, he regarded Jun Shiyuan as his benefactor and master. Jun Mayan was Jun Shiyuan's daughter, so she was naturally his little master. At that time, on the 7-colored cloud carpet, Mayan's complexion was deathly pale, her body cold and swaying, but she still insisted on treating Chu Moli and Lan Luoyu. His heart was filled with worry. Later, during the Battle of Longting, the chaotic tower recognized its master. When Huanglang watched as Mayan's aura grew weaker and weaker. That kind of despair was the same as when he saw Jun Shiyuan and Ning Yanxin being forced apart, Mr. Jun being hunted down, and he was of no use other than holding him back. Chu Moli's hand on his knee suddenly tightened. That perpetually gentle and refined face became malevolent and distorted in an instant. Who told you to save, Jun Mayan, who told you to go this far? However, his voice was very, very low. Apart from himself, no one could hear him. When Luo Yu heard Wen Huanglang's words, tears streamed down her face. He stretched out his trembling hand, but he didn't even dare to touch it. Yang reversion pill, that's right, quickly let 6th senior sister take the Yang reversion pill. He tried to take out the Yang return pill from his storage ring in a flurry, but was stopped by Chu Moli. Don't touch her yet. Chu Moli slowly raised his head and said word by word, don't touch her yet. 3rd senior brother. 3rd senior brother, what's wrong? Why do you look so pale? Do you know what happened to junior sister? Chu Moli closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he had already reverted to that weak and gentle 3rd senior martial brother. I don't know what happened to junior sister. But I have a feeling that junior sister is in danger now. Don't touch her, or else, Tian Mo Chin space. Little Phoenix, what to do? What to do? The great devil has been in pain for so many days, but we can't contact the beautiful big sister, and we can't get out of the space. What should we do? Littling chick, gagagagu, woo-woo. Mommy, come quickly and save Big Brother Red Underpants. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2943. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. I don't know what happened to little junior sister, but she's probably in a dangerous situation right now. It might be better for her to stay in a safe and hidden place. As soon as these words come out, the other 5 immediately understand. Only the people of the Xiaoyao sect know that Mayan Zither has a space. The safe and hidden place that Chu Moli mentioned should be little junior sister's Tian Mo Chin space. But, a cultivator's portable space is usually the most private treasure. The contract signed is far higher than that of other spirit tools and divine tools. If you want to manipulate someone else's space, you either need to have a much higher cultivation than that person, or have great attainments in refining and arrays. Chu Moli is clearly not good at refining or arrays, but he can actually manipulate little junior sister's space. How did he do it? Yun Ruhan and the others have doubts in their hearts. But now is not the time to ask. Because Chu Moli has already turned around to look at Kong Yuanzhou, Zhou Daoyi, and the others. He says unhurriedly, what happened in the Xiuzhen continent during this period of time? Tell me everything, don't omit even the simplest things. Kong Yuanzhou, Zhou Daoyi, and the other Longting instructors look at each other, somewhat unable to come back to their senses. Chu Moli has always been low-key and taciturn among the Xiaoyao 7, and his reputation is not prominent. But sitting in a wheelchair at this time, his gentle voice actually gives them a terrible sense of oppression. Is this a joke? A young, immature, and sickly youth, not a stunning evildoer like Jun Mayan, how could he oppress these old guys? Luo Yu looks at Chu Moli, also feeling that the current 3rd brother is somewhat unfamiliar. She can't help but ask, 3rd brother, what are you going to do? Chu Moli slowly hooks up the corners of his lips. His smile seems bashful and gentle, but half of it is hidden in the darkness, while the other half is exposed to the sunlight. It gives people a bone-chilling feeling for no reason. In this world, how can there be no price for hurting my little junior sister? Since they say that we are the Xiaoyao 7 demons, then I have to show them the appearance of evil demons. Hearing this, Luo Yu's eyes immediately brighten. She says excitedly, "Third brother, you have an idea to retaliate against them." Hee, no wonder he is the most abnormal third brother in our Xiaoyao school. Ling Yuma loosened her grip on the red lotus soul-stealing blade and tightened it again. She laughed sinisterly. "Third senior brother, even if you didn't say it, I couldn't help but want to chop these bastards into pieces. But since you have an idea, I have to listen to you." Their third senior brother was someone who would either not make a move, or once he did, he would definitely make people regret living in this world. Qin Zhou thumped his chest. "Fight! Avenge junior sister." Ling Yuxing looked toward Yun Ruhan and asked carefully, "Senior brother won't object if we don't keep a low profile, right?" Yun Ruhan glanced at them coldly. "What's the purpose of our carefree sect? If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, I'll pull them up by the roots." He could even bear the thought of being killed as a demon that had seized his body and reincarnated. He could even accept it willingly. But Seven couldn't and Junior Sister couldn't. Whoever bullied the people of the Xiaoyao school shouldn't blame them for being ruthless and unscrupulous. Chu Moli's lips curled up at the reaction of his fellow disciples. He looked toward Kong Yuanzhou and Zhou Daoyi, then tilted his head slightly. His expression was gentle, and his voice was clear. "Did you not hear my question clearly? Do I need to repeat myself?" Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 2944. 1 second. Remember LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. I heard it clearly. Zhou Daoyi wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, narrating while crazily ridiculing in his mind. Sure enough, those who can become Jun Mayan's fellow apprentices are not ordinary people. The carefree 7 demons are really worthy of being the carefree 7 demons, one more abnormal than the other. Tian Mo Chin Space. Little Phoenix, what should we do? What should we do? The great devil has been in pain for so many days, but we can't contact the beautiful sister, and we can't get out of the space. What should we do? Little chick, gagagagu, woo-woo. Mommy, come quickly, come and save brother Red Underpants. The Tian Mo Chin space shakes, and Mayan's figure directly appears in the middle of the lawn. Guji. Mommy. Mommy is here. Little Phoenix excitedly flies over. Beautiful sister, that's great, come and see big, beautiful sister, what's wrong with you? When the two come closer, they find that Mayan's condition is not right. Guji. Mommy, what's wrong with you? Mommy, wake up. Little Phoenix, why is there so much blood on beautiful sister? Woo-woo, beautiful sister, don't die. Goo-goo, woo-woo. Mommy's body is so cold. Woo-woo, mommy, Huang doesn't want mommy to die. Little Phoenix quickly releases a golden red fireball, surrounding Mayan's body, but not touching her. While crying, he says, "Beautiful sister, Chocho is using the fire to keep you warm, don't die, okay? If you die, little brother will be very sad." Lying on the ground, Mayan seems to hear the voices of the two, and her fingers gently move. A low moan spills out from between her lips and teeth. Guji. Mommy. Beautiful sister, you're awake. Great. However, to their disappointment, Mayan doesn't wake up. Her pale, snow-white skin begins to flush. Bean-sized beads of sweat mixed with dark red blood oozed out of his pores in a rush. In just the blink of an eye, the originally beautiful girl is covered in stinking blood, and her original appearance cannot be seen. Ah! The painful moans turn into mournful wails. Mayan's whole body curls up in place, her body convulsing. Little Phoenix and Little Chick were scared silly. They could see that inside Muyan's body, there was a mass of white light rampaging about. With each collision, Mayan's pain increases by a fraction, and the white light increases in size. As the white light gets bigger and bigger, it seems like Mayan's body is about to burst apart. Woo 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 woo, what's wrong with you, beautiful sister? Don't scare Cho-Cho. The little chick widened its round eyes, and large droplets of tears rolled down its cheeks. Mommy! Mommy, don't die! Mama can't die! Scram! Suddenly, the two little fellows were kicked by a strong force. When they turn around, they find that Chi Huang has already stood up at some point and is staggering over to Muyan's side. Great demon! Big brother Chi Huang, are you alright? No, how could Chi Huang be fine? At this moment, his figure was so faint that it seemed like it was about to dissipate. The fiery red robe wrapped around his slender figure. He was supposed to be bewitching and elegant. But at this time, it seemed like he would dissipate like a raging fire in the wind at any time. Chi Huang glares at Little Phoenix and Little Chick, hoarsely saying, "Shut up, of course Shenzhen is fine." He bends down to pick up the blood-stained and twitching girl. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2945. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. But because his body has no strength left, his knees go soft, and he suddenly kneels to the ground. Mayan, who he's holding in his arms, also falls down. Jun Mayan. Chi Huang hurriedly rushes over. Jun Mayan, are you hurt? However, at this time, Mayan is completely immersed in the abyss of hellish torment, unable to respond to him. Chi Huang closes his eyes, picks up Mayan again, gathers his strength, and continues to move forward. In the space of the Tian Mo Chin, there is a silver river, like falling stars. When Mayan absorbed the spiritual vein in the Yenwu continent, this river originally entered the space. In the Yenwu continent, if one wants to cultivate their spiritual energy, this is the only source of spiritual energy. But after arriving at the Shuzhen continent, the surroundings are full of spiritual energy, and this star river loses its effect. Chi Huang puts Mayan into the star river, and carefully uses the water in the star river to wash Mayan's body. The bloodstains are washed away, and the mass of light that is rampaging inside Mayan's body becomes clearer. This mass of time is getting bigger and bigger, almost bursting Mayan's body. Cracks begin to appear on the girl's originally snow-white, delicate, and flawless skin. These cracks are blue, black, and silver-white. They interweave together, forming an extremely strange picture. Stupid woman. Looking at this scene and listening to Mayan's uncontrollable moans of pain, Chi Huang clenches his hands into fists and gnashes his teeth. Aren't humans all cunning and selfish? What do those idiots have to do with you? Why do you risk your life to save them again and again? Jun Mayan, answer me. Little Phoenix flies over, and seeing Mayan's miserable state in the Star River, he can't help but cry, will pretty sister die? Brother Chi Huang, you're so powerful, can't you save pretty sister? Chi Huang frowns, and puts his hand into the Star River. The next moment, black energy gushes out from his fingers like ink, dyeing the river, and wrapping around Mayan. However, without waiting for this black energy to pour into Mayan's body, Chi Huang's figure shakes, and he suddenly falls to the ground. Brother Chi Huang. Go. Brother Red Pants, what's wrong with you? Chi Huang feels dizzy, and gets up from the ground with great difficulty. He wants to release energy again, but he can't do it. He gritted his teeth so hard that blood seeped out from between his lips and teeth, but he didn't notice it at all. Her phoenix eyes were scarlet red, so thick that it seemed as if blood could drip from them. Too weak. Hee, you're really too weak. A low, hoarse, mocking voice rang in his ears. The ancient seal, the separation of the two souls, there's nothing you can do, I can't get what I want. I can't save what I want. There's only endless betrayal, ha ha ha. Don't you want to? The voice resounded in his mind again and again, like a curse, slowly seeping into the depths of his soul. Qi Huang's eyes grew redder. A thick, ink-like black aura emanated from his body. The entire space of the Tian Imo Qin shakes violently. That's right. That's right. Ha ha ha. Only, can you get everything you want? Little Phoenix and Little Chick were still hugging Qi Huang and crying. At this moment, she was so frightened that she screamed and scrambled to escape far away. However, even though they had already escaped so far away, they still couldn't help but shiver when they sensed the terrifying aura permeating the air. The space of the Tian Imo Qin seems like it's going to collapse. However, at this time, mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zai.net. Chapter 2946. 1 second to remember, LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. 7 colored rays of light fly out from the Milky Way, transforming into 7 long swords in the air, heading straight for Qi Huang. Smack! The first red sword swoops down, ruthlessly slapping Qi Huang's buttocks. Qi Huang staggers and directly falls to the ground, the whole person is stupefied. Not waiting for him to react. The second sword swoops down again. Smack! 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 7 consecutive swords, one after another, hit Qi Huang's buttocks. From his initial stupor and absent-mindedness, to his subsequent anger, it finally turns into a thunderous rage. Jun Mayan, you don't want to live anymore. Qi Huang is flustered and exasperated as he rushes to the side of the Milky Way, raising his hand to grab the girl in the river. Dare to hit Ben Zun, dare to hit Ben Zun, believe it or not, I'll peel off your skin. At this time, Mayan's whole person is still immersed in the Milky Way. The void spirit ring on her hand unknowingly shines with an icy blue light, wrapping around her whole body, as if it's soothing her body and soul that are already riddled with holes. This is also the reason why Mayan can wake up in the nick of time. But her current state is still very bad. Her skin is mottled with cracks, and bean-sized beads of sweat roll down from her forehead. That ball of light is still rampaging inside her body, and from time to time, a terrible lump would bulge out on her skin. The piercing pain makes her bite her lips, until they're dripping with blood, to suppress her moans and howls. Seeing Mayan like this, Qi Huang's voice comes to an abrupt halt. His eyes surge with intense pain and self-loathing. Jun Mayan, do you think I'm useless? That I can't do anything but stay in this broken place, that I can't help you with anything? Di Mingju can always descend from the sky at Mayan's most dangerous moment. Even if he can't personally descend, with my spirit, I will save your soul. With my spirit, I will nourish your vitality, and also save Mayan from fire and water. Even if it's Luo Yunxiao, that pretty boy that he looks down on. He can always appear when Mayan needs it, support her, and protect her. Only he, accompanied by Mayan's side every day, but couldn't do anything. For tens of thousands of years, he could only be trapped in this tiny space, unable to escape for all eternity. Idiot Qi Shaohuang. Mu Yan's low voice sounded, you also know that you're useless. Even if Qi Huang was still remorseful, he almost flew into a rage when he heard this. Mu Yan chuckles softly. Her line of sight meets Qi Huang's, and she enunciates each word, but, this time, only, you can help me. Qi Huang, I need you to lend me a hand. Are you willing? Qi Huang was taken aback. What are you going to do? Mu Yan took a deep breath, then said in a low voice, You should know, why am I like this now? Countless forces intertwined and collided within her body, as if her body was about to explode. Qi Huang said hatefully, It's all because of you. First, to give those living corpses a chance to reincarnate, you forcefully absorbed a huge amount of demonic energy from the impurities abyss. Then, to let everyone enter the chaotic tower, you forcefully fused your soul with the chaotic tower. In the end, in order to control the chaotic tower to leave, you tore apart the refining god precipice, and even swallowed a large part of the refining god precipice into your body. These three types of energy, an ordinary cultivator would already explode and die if they absorbed one, but what about you? In a short period of time, you forcefully absorbed three types of energy, and these three types of energy even fused with each other. You couldn't even eliminate them one by one. Chapter 2947. Mu Yan, cough cough, cough cough. Qi Huang's voice came to an abrupt halt. He could no longer care about stomping his feet and cursing. He promptly rushes into the river of stars to support her. Jun Mayan, how are you? Is it very painful? Are you unable to control the energy in your body? Mayan wipes the blood from the corner of her mouth, weakly saying, Sir Qi Huang, I know I was wrong, don't think of me anymore. But in this world, there were always, fortune and misfortune depended on misfortune. It might be a crisis, but it might also be an opportunity. Seven Brilliance was startled. What are you doing? Mayan smiles absent-mindedly. Qi Huang, you guessed it, didn't you? Everyone says that reaching the leaving aperture realm in less than 2 years is already an incredible feat, but to me, it's still too slow and weak. It was so slow that she didn't have the ability to trace her parents. She was so slow that she couldn't even protect the people she wanted to protect on the cultivation continent. It's so slow that she's trapped in this piece of land, unable to stay together with Di Mingju for a long time. It was so slow that she could only separate herself from Xiaobao, separating flesh and bone. She did not want to spoil things through excessive enthusiasm, nor did she want to bite off more than she could chew. But now that the opportunity was right in front of her, she was unwilling to give it up no matter what. Therefore, I'm going to convert these three energies into my own. I want to break through to the tribulation stage. Qi Huang, are you crazy? Jun Mayan, have you forgotten that you have just broken through to the leaving aperture stage and your primordial spirit is not stable yet? Trying to break through to the tribulation stage now, isn't that courting death? The energy in his body suddenly collided. A sharp pain hits, and Mayan spits out a mouthful of blood. She brushed away Qi Huang's hand and raised her head to reveal a disdainful smile. So what if I'm courting death? Since I've chosen to walk on the path of cultivation, I've been prepared to walk on the edge of a blade. What others can't do doesn't necessarily mean that I, Jun Mayan, can't do it. For some people, transcending tribulations and ascending to immortality is the final destination, but for me, it is only the beginning. How could I fall here so easily and be forever separated from my loved ones? These words were more than just self-confidence. If it came from someone else's mouth, it would really be called arrogant. However, it sounded so convincing coming from the mouth of this young lady. The anxiety and worry in Qi Huang's heart were slowly soothed. Even the pain that came from the depths of his soul was forgotten at this moment. Besides, apart from absorbing these three energies, do you have a better way to get me out of danger? Seven Brilliance opened his mouth, but could not say a word. If he had a way, how could he only stand by the side of the Milky Way and watch Mu Yan suffer without being able to do anything? Mu Yan raises her head and looks straight into Qi Huang's eyes, slowly saying, "But, if you didn't lend me a hand, I might not even have a 10% chance of survival. So, Chi Huang, are you willing to help me? I didn't say that I wouldn't help you. Chi Huang snorted. His phoenix eyes shimmered as if he was proud and gentle at the same time. Stupid woman, without me, you really can't do anything. His body was already in tatters, and he was on his last breath. It was almost impossible for him to absorb the 3 enormous energies. Her chances of survival might not even be 30%. Mu Yan looked down at the ring on her finger and gently stroked it, her expression gentle and reluctant. But in the end, she still forcibly took off the void spirit ring and put it aside. Chapter 29:48. These days, the void spirit ring has saved her from danger several times, helping her to restore her cultivation. But Di Mingju still hasn't appeared. Mayan knows that there must be something in the Shushan continent that's holding him back. Perhaps Di Mingju's current situation is even more dangerous than hers. Fusing the 3 energies in a moment would be a narrow escape. If the void spirit ring was still in her hands, then Di Mingju would certainly disregard everything to transfer his divine essence to her. She doesn't want to die, and she won't easily admit defeat. But she absolutely doesn't want to drag Di Mingju into a bottomless abyss. Mayan reaches out and gently caresses the ring that has quietly fallen into the grass, her voice soft. I'm sorry, Di Mingju, Xiao Bao, if I can't go to your side. I hope that you will take care of yourself. Withdrawing her hand, Mayan's expression becomes firm again. She raises her hand, and the Tian Mo Qin appears before her eyes. Heavy Phantom activates, and 2 identical figures, one on the left and one on the right, land on opposite sides of the River of Stars. The sound of the zither slowly resounds. The triple star domain is suddenly released. Almost at the same moment the domain is released, the ball of light inside Mayan's body seems to have smelled something tempting, and rushes left and right even more barbarically. Her internal organs feel like they're being torn apart, and Mayan lets out a painful groan. The cracks on the surface of her skin expand by quite a bit in an instant. Strands of blood seep out from the cracks, dyeing Mayan into a bloody person. Seeing this scene, Chi Huang clenches his teeth, and withstanding the pain inside his body, he walks into the River of Stars. His slender hand slowly stretches out, and black and red energy flows out from his fingertips, respectively shooting into the space between the eyebrows of Mayan's original body and the clone. With the injection of the 3rd energy, the ball of light inside Mayan's body goes quiet for a moment. Then, cracks begin to appear. 1 streak, 2 streaks, 3 streaks. The original ball of light is divided into 4 parts, each rushing in 4 different directions. Spiritual power, immortal power, devil power, and the power of the domain. The 4 balls of light sometimes collide, sometimes separate, and sometimes blend together. They restrict and pull each other, but they're also incompatible like fire and water. After being temporarily separated by Chi Huang's heavenly demon power, they actually treat Mayan's body as a battlefield, in a futile attempt to annex other forces. However, none of the 4 balls of light discovered it. The body that they had used as their battlefield and had been tormented by them until it was riddled with holes began to emit strands of crystal-like brilliance that surrounded every ball of light bit by bit. Permeate, devour, absorb, fuse. This process was slow and difficult, but it was silent. In the space, Little Phoenix and Little Chick were waiting beside the Milky Way, running around in circles, tears rolling down their cheeks. They can see that Mu Yan is in a lot of pain. She was a tough and resolute person. Even if she was cut by 1,000 knives, she could still talk and laugh. But at this time, she couldn't stop her tears mixed with blood from flowing. Although he was sitting cross-legged, his skin was riddled with cracks, and every vein was bulging. Every inch of his skin was soaked in a pool of blood, and it was almost twisted. Even if the entire space of the Tian Mo Chin is completely silent, not even the slightest sound can be heard. But one can also know what kind of hellish torture Mu Yen is enduring. Moreover, it's not only Mu Yen who's suffering, but also Qi Huang. His red robe had become lighter and lighter. The slender hands stretched out in the air have become translucent, as if they would dissipate at any time. Mu Yen didn't know that these days, Qi Huang had been suffering in pain all the time. Chapter 2949. Mu Yen didn't know that these days, Qi Huang had been suffering in pain all the time. He hasn't said a word to Mu Yen. At this very moment, these two people are gambling with their lives. The difference is that Mu Yen is gambling with her life for a turning point, betting on her ability to protect her loved ones. And Qi Huang wants to protect the girl in front of him at all costs. That's all. Huang, beautiful sister, and the great devil will be fine, right? Gijiji. Little Inghua lies on the edge of the Milky Way, his round eyes wide open, holding a tear in them, but not blinking. Mom. It'll be fine. Definitely. However, at this time after the 4 balls of light inside Mu Yan's body have shrunk by a quarter, they seem to suddenly react. Boom. The violent impact makes Mu Yen unable to hold on any longer, and she spits out a mouthful of blood. The phantom's clones dissipate. The star domain collapses. Mu Yen falls in a pool of blood, no longer able to stand up. All the vitality quickly drains from her body. No! Jun Mu Yen. Qi Huang screams, wanting to rush over. But he puts everything on the line, sending the power of the heavenly demon into Mu Yan's body. At this time, the power of the heavenly demon is entangled in the ball of light, and even he can't break free. Mu Yen only feels that Qi Huang's shouts, the screams of little Inghua and little Phoenix, and the strong smell of blood, everything is getting further and further away from her. She opens her eyes in a trance, and seems to see Di Mingju and Xiao Bao standing not far away, gently waving at her. Nyangqin. Xiao Bao holds out his hand, his ice-blue eyes bright like stars. Nyangqin, our family will be together forever. I also want to be with you forever. But, I'm sorry. Nyangqin might have to go back on her words. Yen, what I want to bind you is not for this lifetime, but for all eternity. Even if the sky falls and the earth cracks, even if the seas run dry and the rocks crumble, I will still be by your side, watching over you, protecting you, loving you. Similarly, I won't allow anyone to take you away from me. The excessive blood loss and pain make Mu Yan's ears buzz. But she hears a familiar voice in the midst of the buzz. It was deep, dull, and distant, but it struck her soul again and again like a clap of thunder. Di Mingju. Di Mingju, I can't bear to part with you. I really want to see you and Xiao Bao again. Buzz. The ethereal spirit ring, which was not far from her, shook violently. Suddenly, it flew over and landed on her ring finger. Xiuxian continent. Ah! What the hell was that? It was too disgusting. Is this a zombie? Is this the fantasy version of Resident Evil? The Bixia sword was fleeing from the dozens of poltergeist ghosts. When it finally returned to Xiaobao's hand, it couldn't help but cry out, "Little master, save me. I don't want to cut these damn things. If I kill them and get infected, I'll turn into a zombie sword." Xiao Bao grabbed the Bixia sword. Seeing several poltergeists pouncing on him, he mercilessly slashed the sword horizontally. Swoosh! The stinky liquid splattered everywhere. Xiao Bao frowned and took a few steps back, not letting the liquid stain his body. The sword buzzed non-stop, It's over, I'm going to turn into a zombie, I'm going to be infected. Xiao Bao, shut up. Little master, don't you love me? I'm an upright and virtuous youth, a handsome young man with a bright sword aura. How could I kill zombies so bloodily and brutally? Chapter 2950. Xiao Bao swung his sword again and said coldly, "Make any more noise and I'll stab it into the mouth of the poltergeist ghost." The buzzing stopped, Bai Xie didn't dare to speak anymore and obediently killed the poltergeist ghosts. The fat rabbit looked at the sword in disdain, its body suddenly enlarged, and with a howl, swallowed 3 poltergeist ghosts. But soon, its face twisted, showing an expression as if it had swallowed feces. So disgusting. Even worse than the food cooked by the female devil. While the 3 little ones were fighting fiercely, the people of the Falling Moon tribe and the Ghost Killer tribe were dumbfounded. Young Master seems, hasn't reached Golden Immortal Realm yet. But why can his sword kill poltergeist ghosts? Why is his spirit pet rabbit fine after eating poltergeist ghosts? One had to know that even the lowest level poltergeist ghosts were almost inexhaustible. Unless you kill them all in one go, or burn them with divine power, they will resurrect infinitely. But these principles that everyone in the Shushan continent is familiar with seem to be ineffective in front of young master. What kind of treasure is that sword? What kind of god is that rabbit? Why can it really kill poltergeist ghosts without divine power? Defeating armies killed the poltergeist ghost next to him and looked at the beautiful little boy not far away. His eyes, which had always been cold and stern, revealed a gentle light of praise. He killed all the poltergeist ghosts around him, then quickly walked to Xiao Bao, bowed and said, "Young master, there are more and more poltergeist ghosts gathering here, it's not safe anymore, let's quickly go to the polar domain and meet up with Lord." Xiao Bao nodded. He could feel that these poltergeist ghosts are very dangerous, and there are so many of them, no matter how hard he killed, he couldn't kill them all. He was worried about his father's safety, and wanted to see him as soon as possible. Xiao Bao swung his Bixia sword and jumped up. The fat rabbit also swayed its head, endured the nausea and jumped into Xiao Bao's arms. Poltergeist ghosts can't fly, but they can jump very high. And now that the barrier is broken, poltergeist ghosts would fall from the cracks in the sky. Flying too high wasn't necessarily safe. But Bishia's sword is too fast, and the angle of its flight is very tricky. Therefore, even if countless poltergeist ghosts rushed over, even if this noisy sword spirit kept shouting, it would always narrowly avoid the attacks of all the poltergeist ghosts. Occasionally, a poltergeist ghost would pounce on it, but it would be swallowed by the fat rabbit. But to those poltergeist ghosts, Xiao Bao seemed to be far more attractive than others. They obviously couldn't catch up to it, but they screamed and fought to be the first to leap onto the Bixia sword. It was also because Xiao Bao had attracted the attention of the poltergeist ghosts that the people of the Falling Moon tribe and the Ghost Killer tribe, who were following behind them, became extremely relaxed. This was the first time they had been surrounded by the poltergeist ghosts, yet there were no casualties at all. Looking at the tiny figure on the flying sword in front of them, the eyes of the people of the Falling Moon tribe and the Ghost Killer tribe shone with blazing admiration. Even they themselves didn't realize that this kind of light is exactly the same as when they looked at Di Mingju. However, at this moment, a loud bang came from the front. A huge blood-red figure stood in front of the Bixia sword. A pair of pure black eyes without the scara slowly turned and landed on Xiao Bao. There seemed to be a greedy light burning inside. Defeating armies' expression changed. It's a Type 3 giant poltergeist. Young master, be careful. In the past, when the barrier loosened, only rank 1 and rank 2 small poltergeist ghosts could come to the Shushan continent. Thousands of years had passed, and it had always been so. Chapter 2951. Many people who had just been born or ascended to the Shushian continent even thought that the poltergeist ghosts only had one form. Even defeating armies had almost forgotten about it. However, thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago, countless giant poltergeist ghosts came to the world. That was the real end of the world, the real hell. The Bishia sword quickly stopped flying and wanted to retreat. But the giant poltergeist opposite raised his hand. The skin all over his body seemed to be mixed with pus, blood, and minced meat. When he raised his hand, the pustules on his palm could be seen. However, this disgusting palm suddenly released a powerful suction force. The Bishia sword, together with Xiao Bao and the fat rabbit, was sucked over. Little Master. Defeating armies roared hoarsely. His whole body and the saber in his hand merged into one. Spinning rapidly, he turned into saber energy and rushed towards the giant poltergeist ghost. Ew! The fat rabbit shouted anxiously and quickly enlarged its body, trying to block Xiao Bao. But this giant poltergeist ghost seemed to be much smarter than ordinary low-level poltergeist ghosts. It knew that defeating armies was not easy to deal with, and the fat rabbit was not delicious. So the moment defeating armies rushed over, it suddenly sidestepped. It made a strange sound. In an instant, countless low-level poltergeist ghosts rushed over from all directions. They surrounded defeating armies and the people of Falling Moon Tribe and Ghost Killer Tribe. Defeating armies was burning with anxiety, his eyes full of ferocity. The long saber in his hand swept like a gust of wind, not caring whether the poisoned blood on the poltergeist ghosts would splash on his body. Jun Shang ordered them to protect the Little Master, so he must protect him. What's more, the Little Master might be, however, when the dense crowd of low-level poltergeist ghosts was temporarily killed. Defeating armies found that both the giant poltergeist ghost and the Little Master were gone. Only the fat rabbit fell to the ground, unconscious. Defeating armies knew how important the fat rabbit was to Xiao Bao. He quickly asked someone to pick it up and check, but found that there was no injury on the fat rabbit's body. It was just that the accumulated energy in its body was unable to be digested, so it fell into a coma. The one who examined the fat rabbit was a doctor from Falling Moon Tribe. Looking at the unremarkable spirit beast in his bosom, his expression was indescribably complicated and shocked. In the Shushian continent, there is no spirit beast that is completely unafraid of the grey ghost poison. Not to mention, the star-fated ghosts do indeed contain powerful energy, but apart from turning into star-fated ghosts after they die, for billions of years, no human or beast has been able to transform the star-fated ghost's energy for their own use. How did this rabbit do it? What was its origin? Defeating armies didn't have the mood to care about what the fat rabbit was. He had just released his divine sense to search around, but there was no trace of Xiao Bao at all. At this moment, the anxiety and regret in his heart made his face so gloomy that it could drip water. Search. Even if he had to turn this entire mountain region upside down, he had to find the young master. Otherwise, we won't have the face to go back and face Juanshang. Understood. Fuck. Little Master, what should we do? What should we do? Damn, aren't zombies supposed to be slow? There are so many of them, and they're so fast. How are we supposed to survive? Xiao Bao's face darkened as he brandished his sword energy, cutting the poltergeist ghost that fell from the sky. But it was only a moment's delay. The giant poltergeist ghost behind came closer again. It lifted its decaying palm, and a huge swallowing force came again. It made the evil warding sword vibrate, unable to move forward quickly. Chapter 2952. 1 second. Remember, LoveNet, to provide you with exciting reading. Little Treasure gathered his immortal energy and poured it into the evil warding sword. However, his cultivation was too low. He had already used up most of the divine qi in his Guanyuan after running all the way. At this moment, he disregarded everything and overdrew his immortal power. Suddenly, he felt a burning pain in his body. His face was pale, and his body was on the verge of collapsing. Bai Xia sensed the change in Xiao Bao and immediately stopped fooling around. He shouted anxiously, "Little master, are you all right?" At this moment, the giant poltergeist seemed to have sensed their weakness. It let out a strange cry, and its speed suddenly increased by several times. At the same time, they raised their huge palms and made a grabbing motion in Xiaobao's direction. Swish! Xiaobao had no control over his body. His small body was pulled into the air by a huge force and quickly crashed into the palm of the giant poltergeist. Young master! The Bixia sword let out an angry roar and turned into a beam of light that shot towards the poltergeist ghost. But all of this was a step too late. In the blink of an eye, Xiaobao had already arrived in front of the giant poltergeist. A strong stench wafted out from the open palm. The murky liquid dripped down, and a drop splashed on Xiaobao's face. No matter how calm and collected little Bao was, his entire body stiffened at this moment. His face was pale, and his mind was filled with panic and helplessness from the impending death. "Daddy, Mommy," he muttered in his heart and closed his eyes in despair. But at this moment, his body was grabbed by something and he was lifted into the air. There was no stinky liquid splashing on his body, and there was no pain of being eaten. There was only a strange but warm embrace. Xiaobao cautiously opened his eyes and saw an unfamiliar face. He was thin, charming, handsome, and emanated a ghastly baleful aura that caused others to shrink back at the sight of him. Xiaobao stared blankly at the face that was so close to him, as if he hadn't realized that he was already out of danger. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and turned his head to look. He saw the giant poltergeist that had terrified him and made him feel powerless. At this moment, it fell to the ground like a pile of mud, gradually turning into blood and evaporating. The Bixia sword wobbled as it flew to Xiaobao and crashed into his bosom. After confirming that he was fine, she almost burst into tears. "My little ancestor, you scared me to death. Motherfucker, I thought my sword body was finished." When he said the last two words, Bai Xia suddenly realized something. His little master was being carried in someone's arms. The little master was only 6 years old, so it wasn't strange at all for her to be carried in someone's arms. What made Bai Xia speechless was that the aura of this man who was carrying his little mistress was just too terrifying. The Bai Xia sword was once trapped in the Fuxi secret realm for tens of years. It had seen and tasted all kinds of malevolent auras. However, that bit of fiendish aura was like a mayfly against a tree, a drop of water merging into the ocean. It was too embarrassing to even mention it. Who was this man? What did he want to do to little master? Xiaobao hugged the buzzing Bixia sword and turned to look at the man who held him. "Thank you for saving me," he said in a crisp voice. The man put him down. His expression was cold. He didn't even look at him, but looked up into the sky with a frown. Xiaobao looked around, only to find that the scenery around him was unfamiliar. He had never left the small world before. He didn't know what the Xuxian continent was like, and he didn't know where to find his father. Xiaobao's brows furrowed as well. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please come to Zii. Chapter 2953. 1 second. Remember Love Net, providing you with interesting reading. Bai Xia, the sword spirit in his arms, looked at the big one, then at the little one. Was it an illusion? Why did the frowning look of the big one and the little one look so similar? Uncle Black Shirt. Xiaobao thought for a while, raised his head and looked at the man. "Can I ask you for a favor?" The man was indeed dressed in black. The aura around him was completely hidden, making people unable to tell his cultivation level and origin. But the terrifying pressure that he was born with made people unable to ignore it. It made their hairs stand on end from the depths of their souls. The man did not expect that. Not only was a little child not afraid of him, but also dared to ask him for a favor. He couldn't help but smile. "Ask me for a favor." The man's expression was sinister, but his voice was deep and magnetic. But this melodious voice made Bai Xia shiver uncontrollably. Xiao Bao blinked his big blue eyes, nodded and said, "I'm lost, I can't find my father." "Uncle Blackshirt, can you bring me to the polar domain? I want to find my father." "Polar domain?" The man raised his eyebrows. "What's your father's name?" Xiao Bao blinked his big eyes again. "Father is father, Xiao Bao is only father." He was not stupid enough to reveal his father's identity in a strange place, in front of a stranger. Although she thought so, she still maintained a cold and adorable look on her face. He stepped forward and grabbed the man's clothes. "Uncle Blackshirt, can you help Xiao Bao? When I find my father, Xiao Bao will definitely repay you." For some reason, although the pressure around this man was high and mighty, gloomy and ruthless, Xiao Bao was not afraid of him at all. However, for some reason, Xiao Bao wasn't afraid of him at all. In fact, he even seemed to be a little close to him. The man frowned and was about to push him away. His action of saving Xiao Bao was already strange enough. He had always hated children. Now, he still wanted his help to find someone. Or go to the polar domain to find someone. What a fool's dream. But, just as he raised his hand, he saw a pair of ice blue eyes, clear and moving like crystals, with a hint of dependence on him. The delicate and beautiful little face was cold and indifferent. He could vaguely see a distant and familiar shadow. The man's mind went blank for a moment. When he came back to his senses, he had already picked up Xiao Bao. Not long after, a group of people rushed over after sensing the aura. They saw the little doll in the black-clothed man's arms. He almost stumbled and fell to the ground. Even his voice was trembling. "Greetings, Demon Lord. Demon Lord, the road to the Nether Realm has been opened. Should we depart now?" While reporting, they kept glancing at the little boy in the arms of the honor demon. She was so beautiful. It was as if he was transformed from a child in front of the Buddha. But no matter how beautiful she was, she couldn't be so audacious. How dare she let the demon sovereign hug her? Ah! Wasn't he afraid that the demon lord would be unhappy and break his fair and tender arm? However, to their surprise, he could feel Xiao Bao's arms around his neck and his head resting on his shoulder. Xiao Bao was in a daze. Not only did the honor demon not get angry, he even took out a cloak and covered the little baby. Bai Xia was so impressed by his young master that he wanted to prostrate himself before him. As expected, there was no big boss in the world that his little master couldn't handle by acting cute. If acting cute once wasn't enough, he would do it twice. He guaranteed that even the most cold-hearted person would be subdued by him. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 2954. 1 second to remember LoveNet, providing you with wonderful reading. After covering Xiao Bao with the cloak, Jun Shirtian coldly said, "Go to the polar domain." "What? Aren't we going to the nether domain to investigate the reason for the barrier breaking? How did it become the polar domain?" "Because of the princess marriage, we are irreconcilable with the polar domain." Cough, cough, cough. It's not good to go to the polar domain right now. Jun Shirtian narrowed his eyes, looked at the people kneeling below, and slowly said, "Are you the demon lord? or am I the demon lord? How about I let you sit in this position? This subordinate doesn't dare. Go to the polar domain, let's go to the polar domain immediately. As they spoke, they transformed into a completely black flying boat. They took out all kinds of magic armors and weapons, armed themselves to the teeth, and worriedly stepped onto the flying boat. Jun Shirtian didn't wait for them to transform into the flying boat, and already disappeared with Xiao Bao. Looking at the demon lord speeding towards the polar domain imperial palace, the demon soldiers and demon generals panicked in their hearts. Demon lord, don't tell me you don't know that the polar domain is our sworn enemy. Most importantly, the polar domain's king, Deming Ju, is currently the only immortal emperor in the three realms. You can't beat him. If we recklessly rush in, isn't that courting death? Just that, not long after Jun Shirtian flew out. The little baby sleeping on his shoulder suddenly stood up, Mother. Jun Shirtian jumped in fright, stopped, and looked at the person in his arms. He saw the little baby's body trembling, his eyes filled with fear and worry. Jun Shirtian frowned. What's wrong? Mother is in danger. Xiao Bao can feel that Mother is in great pain. Xiao Bao forced himself not to break down and cry. Tears rolled down uncontrollably from his ice-blue eyes, big drops rolling down. But it's this kind of suppressed sadness and sensibility that doesn't match his age that makes people feel even more distressed. Jun Shirtian has never coaxed a child before, and can only say in a stiff tone, "What's wrong with your mother?" Xiao Bao shook his head. Xiao Bao doesn't know, but every time Mother is in danger, Xiao Bao can feel it. This is the true bond between mother and son. Jun Shirtian, shall I bring you to find your mother? I can't find her. Xiao Bao choked with sobs. Mother is in a very, very far away place. Only Father can take me there. Uncle Black Shirt, I miss my mother, I miss my father. Can you take me to find my father quickly? Jun Shirtian was about to reply. Suddenly, an earth-shattering boom came from the southwest. Jun Shirtian suddenly turned his head and looked at the huge black hole that appeared in the southwest sky. His pupils suddenly contracted. Devil Sovereign. The flying boat behind him hurriedly caught up with him, his expression one of shock and horror. Devil Sovereign, that's the direction of the hidden abyss. There are many people of our devil clan. Demon Lord, what should we do? Jun Shirtian's face turned extremely ugly. Only he knew that it wasn't just the barrier above the hidden abyss that had collapsed. It was a calamity that would destroy the entire Shushan continent. Because that position was one of the formation eyes of the entire barrier, it was equivalent to the heavenly pillar of the Shushan continent. Now that the pillars had collapsed, what kind of terrifying consequences would there be? Greetings, Lord. Defeating armies knelt in front of Deming Ju in a sorry state. His voice was hoarse, and he couldn't raise his head for a long time. Lord, please punish this subordinate. This subordinate was careless and lost the little master. At this time, the people of the Falling Moon tribe and the Ghost Killer tribe were riddled with scars and covered in blood. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit Zii. Chapter 2955. Everyone from the Falling Moon tribe and the Ghost Killer tribe was covered in wounds and blood. If it weren't for the Heaven Spirit detoxification elixir newly refined by the Medicine King, they would have been infected with pitch-black poison, and no medicine could save them. But at this moment, they couldn't care less about their injuries. Their hearts were filled with regret and self-blame. Such a good little master, the little master that Jun Shang had solemnly entrusted them to protect, had actually been lost by them. Deming Ju's complexion is somewhat pale, his fingers unconsciously turning the ring on his finger. When he heard that Xiao Bao had gone missing while hiding from the giant poltergeist, he frowned deeply. Don't worry, Lord. Elder Chang quickly said in a low voice, you and Little Master have signed the blood knot totem. If Little Master is really in trouble, you will definitely be able to sense it. Although these words were just comforting words, everyone could not help but heave a sigh of relief. Although they were still worried, at least they knew that their young master was still alive. Elder Chang forgets about the densely packed poltergeist ghosts in the distance, but they don't dare to approach out of fear of Di Mingju's breath. He sighs softly, it's clearly not time yet, how could the enchantment suddenly collapse? Nowadays, the Shushan continent is being ravaged by the poltergeist ghosts. Little Master has also gone missing. This is really not a good sign. Di Mingju narrowed his eyes and looked in the direction of the nether domain. He sneered, why did the enchantment suddenly collapse? Perhaps we should go ask Yin Wuji. Pijuan, where did Xiao Bao go missing? What happened before he went missing? Tell me everything clearly. Yes, my lord. Defeating armies immediately roused his spirits and was about to narrate in detail. All of a sudden, the ring on Di Ming's finger glowed, and then dimmed completely. His face turned completely pale in an instant. His whole body seemed to be frozen as he stood there in a daze. Lord, what's wrong? Boom! Di Mingju fiercely slaps a rock next to him. The boulder that was as large as a small mountain instantly shattered into fine powder, flying towards the group of nightmare ghosts not far away. The broken rocks contained a powerful divine power, scaring the poltergeist ghosts away. Jun Mayan, you dare! How dare you take off the void spirit ring? How dare you leave me? Jun Shang. Did something happen to Miss June? Di Mingju takes a deep breath. I'll make a trip to the Shushan continent, my primordial spirit avatar will stay here. Separating his essence soul avatar at this time was equivalent to greatly weakening his strength in a short period of time. Not to mention that Di Mingju had been continuously transferring divine essence to Mu Yen through the void spirit ring. Now that the nightmare ghost was wreaking havoc and the barrier was collapsing, it was tantamount to seeking one's own death. Elder Chang, Ying Mei, and the others wanted to persuade him. But seeing Di Mingju's crimson eyes, and the uncontrollable berserk aura around him, he swallows back the words that are at the tip of his tongue. Only they know how important Miss June is to Jun Shang. If Miss June dies, I'm afraid Jun Shang won't be able to survive alone. At this moment, the Shushan continent is in a precarious situation, and the polar domain is in grave danger. If Miss June didn't fall into a truly desperate situation, how could Jun Shang disregard everything and send an avatar there? How could this be? Why is everything happening at the same time? The poltergeist ghosts are wreaking havoc, Little Master is missing, Miss June is in imminent danger, villainous heavens, are you deliberately not letting our Jun Shang have an easy time? Han Yi grits his teeth and viciously curses. As if in response to his words, a loud rumble comes from the southwest direction. Chapter 2956. The heavens shook and the earth trembled. Anguished wails filled the air as bloody light soared into the sky. Di Mingju abruptly turns his head to look at the huge hole in the sky, and his pupils suddenly contract. Countless poltergeist ghosts, big ones, small ones, fell down from the hole. The vampire's blood-red skin dyed the sky red. Strange and excited howls filled the entire world. For a moment, the entire Shushan continent seemed to have turned into an apocalyptic land. Elder Chang staggered and almost fell to the ground. How could this be? How could this be? With the collapse of the heavenly pillar, is the heavens really going to destroy all living beings in the three realms? That's above the hidden abyss, Ying Mei said in a trembling voice. But it's also adjacent to the polar domain. There are also several sects and aristocratic families there. Elder Chang suddenly pushed away the person who was supporting him and said sternly, "Everyone, return to the polar domain immediately and activate the Great Heavenly Demon Formation. Pass down the order, all citizens of the polar domain are to retreat in the direction of the Imperial Palace." Han Yi, Ying Mei, Star Wolf and defeating armies simultaneously look at Elder Chang, revealing expressions of disbelief. "Elder Chang, you mean..." Elder Chang looks towards Di Mingju. Even though there are aristocratic families and sects next to the hidden abyss, they're just like grass on top of a wall, a small force that tries to curry favor with the three parties. They can't be considered as subordinates of my polar domain. Now that the sky pillar has just collapsed, there will definitely be a large number of high-level poltergeist ghosts descending. The area around the hidden abyss is the most dangerous. "Lord, aren't you going to the Shushan continent to look for Miss June? All of us from the polar domain will retreat to the Imperial City and wait for your return. I'll personally send someone to look for the young master." Hearing Elder Chang's words, Han Yi, Xing Lang, and the others also repeatedly nod their heads. "Lord, in order to transfer divine essence to Miss June, your current cultivation is less than 70% of what it used to be. If he went to the hidden abyss, he would most likely encounter danger. We might as well go to the cultivation continent to save Miss June, yeah. Miss June is on the verge of death. Even if you stay here, you will not be able to rest easy. We swear that we will definitely find Little Master, defend the polar domain, and wait for your return. At that time, the most dangerous time will have passed. You can recover your strength and come back to clean up the mess. The Shushan continent will regain its peace." Di Mingju closes his eyes, tightly clutching the void spirit ring on the ring finger of his left hand. After a long time, he opened his eyes and said, "To the hidden abyss. June Shang." His icy blue eyes swept across everyone present and finally landed on Elder Chang. Ben June was first the Di June of the polar domain, then Di Mingju. Because of danger, because of personal feelings, to give up the lives of millions of people, even if we save Mayan, she will not be happy. The man's voice was deep and hoarse, yet resolute. "Gather all the golden immortals and above in the polar domain. Head to the hidden abyss and kill the poltergeist and the sky-mending pillar." Elder Chang stares at Di Mingju in a daze. It's as if the image of that little boy from thousands of years ago appears before his eyes. Time flew by, and the blue seas turned into mulberry fields. His little monarch had grown up into such an outstanding monarch. Does Di Mingju not want to go to the Shushan continent? Does he not want to go to June Mayan's side? Of course he wanted to. He was thinking like a madman. However, he was the only immortal emperor in the entire Shushan continent. He was the only one who could enter the crack to repair the collapse of the heavenly pillar. The polar domain withdraws into the great array of demons and gods, admittedly keeping one side safe and waiting for Di Mingju to return and counterattack. But what about the other creatures on the Shushan continent? Even if those people don't belong to the polar domain, even if those are from the demon race, even if they are from the demon race. Chapter 2957. But they were all on the same piece of land. Could it be that they could only watch helplessly as these creatures died under the claws and teeth of the poltergeist ghosts? Di Mingju chooses to stay, but what he gives up is his own feelings. On his back was the life and death of the entire Shushan continent, as well as his responsibility as the strongest cultivator. Elder Chang's heart was filled with pride and heartache. In the end, he held back his tears and bowed, "I will obey the Lord's orders." Han Yi, Ying Mei, Star Wolf and defeating armies simultaneously kneel down, their voices choked with emotion. "We solemnly obey June Shang's orders." Their June Shang is the best June Shang in the whole world. The luckiest thing that has ever happened to them in this life is to be able to follow at Di Mingju's side, and become a member of the polar domain. All the polar domain immortals present knelt down and shouted in unison, "I will obey Jun Shang's orders." Di Mingju doesn't let them get up. Instead, his figure flashes and he disappears from where he stood. After reaching the immortal emperor realm, his speed was already much faster than ordinary flying swords and flying treasures. Elder Chang, Pejuan, and the rest couldn't catch up even if they wanted to. Therefore, no one sees that the moment Di Mingju turns around, his complexion is deathly white, and he suddenly spits out a mouthful of blood. As for the ring on his finger, it turned from its original gray color to light up again. Jun Mayan, have you forgotten what I said? From the moment you agreed to marry me, you already had no way out. She will be my wife for a day, and she will be my wife for all eternity. If the world really doesn't give us a way out, then just wait and see. Wait for me to live in the same quilt with you and die in the same hole with you. It doesn't matter if it's a god, a demon, or an apocalyptic calamity, no one can separate us. Xiuzhen Continent, Tian Mo Chin Space. The void spirit ring shook violently. Then, it suddenly flew over by itself and landed on Mu Yan's ring finger. In a trance, she felt a pair of hands picking her up and pulling her into a warm embrace. Rich spirit energy, accompanied by endless divine essence, poured into her body, injecting her already dried-up body with exuberant vitality. If the heavens really don't give us a way out, then just you wait. Wait for me to live in the same quilt with you and die in the same hole with you. It doesn't matter if it's a god, a demon, or an apocalyptic calamity, no one can separate us. Mu Yan abruptly sits up from the ground and looks around. But it was empty, not even a shadow of a person could be seen. However, the void spirit ring, which she had just taken off, was still on her left hand. It was Di Mingju. He had saved her once again. However, he had already taken off the void spirit ring. What kind of price would he have to pay to put the ethereal spirit ring back on her from thousands of miles away? What if he transferred the divine essence that was equivalent to his life to him? And the phrase, "if the heavens really don't give us a way out," was it her illusion or reality? Is Di Mingju also in danger? No, he must be in danger. That was why he couldn't make it in time, and that was why he said those despairing words. Oh, after the 4 balls of light in his body recovered, they began to wreak havoc again. The intense pain caused Mayan's face to contort as she let out a painful groan. "Beautiful sister, you're awake." Sob, 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 I thought you. Chapter 2958. Qi Huang grits his teeth and fiercely says, "Shut up. You useless woman, you only know how to talk big. In the end, can you do it or not? Still want to continue?" Mayan's hand slowly presses on the ring in her hand. She closes her eyes, and when she opens them again, there's a resolute look in her eyes, again. This time, I will never fail. For Qi Huang, for the Xiaoyao sect, for all the people who follow and believe in her. For Xiao Bao. And for the man who wants to protect her at all costs, even when he's in danger. This time, she will never lose again. The sound of the zither resounds, heavy phantom, star field, activating once again. Qi Huang grits his teeth and unreservedly sends the demonic power into Mayan's body. The void spirit ring on Mayan's finger shines with a sparkling light from time to time. Bit by bit, it's devoured and worn down. The 4 balls of light in Mayan's body are getting smaller and smaller. On the contrary, Mayan's whole body begins to linger with a layer of faint radiance. However, at this moment, the 4 balls of light that have shrunk several times seem to feel some kind of crisis. They recklessly collide with each other, vainly trying to fuse back into one. Once they fuse, they won't be able to absorb them one by one, and everything they've done before will be in vain. Qi Huang's eyes are crimson, and he tightly clenches his teeth. The temporary separation of the four kinds of energy can only rely on his demonic power. Jun Mayan has never really begged him. This is the first time he can help her. The first time he can really protect her. Protect the only human being in this world that he cares about. How can he not do it? How can he watch Jun Mayan die with his eyes wide open? If what you said is true, Qi Huang looks up at the horizon, looking through the endless chaotic sky of the Tianmo Qin, not knowing where he's looking. If in this world there's really half of my soul, then listen carefully to me. You useless thing, every time, you only let this deity bear the pain for you. If you still have a little self-awareness as a half of this deity's soul, if you and I are of one mind, then lend me your power for the time being, this deity. I don't want to destroy the world, I don't want to retaliate against humanity, I don't want anything, I just want to protect this woman in front of me. Boom! A beam of light descends from the top of the Tianmo Qin space, completely engulfing Qi Huang in the Milky Way and Mayan on the riverbank. The space shook violently, and a wind chime that had never been heard before rang out from the top of the central book tower. Hugging each other, Little Chick and Little Phoenix widened their eyes at the sight before them. After the chaotic tower left the divine elephant city and the god-refining precipice was broken, the Demon Extermination Alliance was established. The leader of the alliance was Jing Tianyi, the sect master of the Cleansing Joy Pavilion. The deputy alliance leader was North Placating Marquis, Chu Xinyan. The demon-slaying hall was transformed from North Placating Marquis' Sumra Mustard Seed Treasure, the 100 Disaster City. It was temporarily located at the former site of the Dragon Ascension Academy in Divine Elephant City as the headquarters of the Demon Extermination Alliance. Following that, a large amount of spirit chi from the Purple Cloud Realm flowed into the Azure Realm, the Green Cloud Realm, and the Green Realm. The great clans and sects of the Ziyun Realm hate this demoness to the bone. More and more people joined the Demon-Slaying Alliance. Just the Crossing Tribulation cultivators alone, there are as many as a dozen. Among them, Jing Tianyi, Chu Xinyan, Miao Yu, and the king of the Xiaohou country of the southern continent, Xiaohou Zun, are all famous Crossing Tribulation cultivators on the Azure Sky list. Chapter 2959. It could be said that all the most powerful forces in the cultivation continent were gathered here. No matter which realm they were in, there would always be mid- and high-level cultivators flying around in search of the unfettered seven devils and their lackeys. However, what disappointed them was that the Demon-Slaying Alliance had almost turned the entire cultivation continent upside down, but they could not find them. This was not even the most infuriating thing. In the demon-slaying hall. What did you say? Miao Yu fiercely slammed the table. The exquisite fruits and dishes on the table were smashed into pieces, and juices flowed all over the floor. It also dirtied Miao Yu's slender hands. However, she couldn't care less. She glared fiercely at the disciple in front of her. Say that again for me. Senior Sister Miao Hui and the others went to the Azure Blue World to track the unfettered seven devils. They were playing with the male cultivators when, blazing wild blade, Ling Yuma suddenly appeared and killed Senior Sister Miao Hui and the others. There were some things that this disciple did not dare to say. In the He sect, women were respected. Miao Yu's direct disciples were all ordinary-looking female cultivators with outstanding talent, and were good at sweet-talking to make him happy. Miao Hui was Miao Yu's granddaughter. Miao Yu had always valued his disciples, and he spent all his resources on them. All the male cultivators in the cultivation continent allowed them to play with and humiliate them. This time, Miao Yu had sent people to search for the unfettered seven devils. However, they had taken a fancy to a few male cultivators with outstanding looks in the Phoenix Sky Academy. They did not care if the people around them were willing or not. They captured them, drugged them, whipped them, and forced them to humiliate them. Blazing Wild Blade Leng Yuma appeared at this moment and slashed down without saying a word. Miao Hui and the others were having fun, but they did not even have time to pick up their magic treasures before they were killed. Miao Yu's face was distorted, and the anger in his eyes was about to burst out. Good, good, good unfettered seven devils. Good, Leng Yuma. How dare you kill my most beloved disciple? I will definitely tear you into pieces. She suddenly turned around and looked at Jing Tianyi, who was sitting at the highest point. Alliance Master Jing, the unfettered seven devils are already so lawless. Are we going to let them do as they please? Miao Yu's words quickly garnered the approval of the crowd. Xue Minglang gritted his teeth. Lan Luoyu, that little bastard. He actually destroyed the elixir that my Xue family had cultivated for hundreds of years. If I don't tear him into pieces, I won't be able to appease the hatred in my heart. Su Qinhuan said, Ling Yuxing killed more than half of the people my Shrouded Heaven Manor sent to search for him. Later on, this little bastard simply guarded the entrance of my Shrouded Heaven Manor. As long as a disciple went out, he would disturb and kill him. Unfortunately, he was so fast that even I couldn't catch up to him. Now, everyone in the Shrouded Heaven Prefecture is in danger and doesn't dare to go out. How can we slay the demons? It's the same in my sect. These unfettered seven devils are going to make us restless. My clan's industries have all been destroyed by those bastards. We have suffered heavy losses. Jing Tianyi's expression turned ugly as he listened to the curses of the people below. The reason for that was because the situation of the Cleansing Joy Pavilion was not much better than those people. It was as if, overnight, all sorts of announcements had appeared in every market in the northern continent. Some of them even came with photographic talismans. The contents were all about the truth about the unclean abyss and the blasphemers. If it was just one or two or a few words, given the Cleansing Joy Pavilion's ruling position in the northern continent, perhaps no one would believe it. Chapter 2960. But there were also photographic talismans of the villagers of Yuanhua village crying and crying as evidence. In addition, these announcements and photographic talismans seemed to be inexhaustible. More and more rumors were spreading, and they were spreading far and wide. The entire northern continent was suddenly in a state of panic. Originally, everyone was scrambling to pray to the gods, but now, no one went there. Occasionally, some people would rush to the altar and yell at them to return their relatives who had become blasphemers. Mula Pavilion, the Yun family, and the Ning family's unshakable position in the northern continent were now on the verge of collapse. And all of this was thanks to who? Naturally, it was Yun Ruhan, who had taken over Yun Jifeng's body and could freely enter and leave the northern continent. It was the unfettered seven demons who had been haunting them and making them helpless. Chu Xinyan looked at the scene before him and couldn't help but smile. He looked at Jing Tianyi with a faint smile on his face and said slowly, Alliance Master Jing, the unfettered seven devils are just a few nascent soul cultivators, but they managed to play us, the clans, sects, and tribulation transcendence cultivators like us. If we don't take any measures, I think the demon-slaying alliance should just disband and avoid making a fool of itself. Jing Tianyi's face turned green and white. But Chu Xinyan was telling the truth. They had been played by the unfettered seven demons for too long, and it was too humiliating and sullen. Unfortunately, these people were extremely cunning. They knew that they weren't strong enough to fight them head-on, so they didn't show up in front of them. Those who were targeted were all their weaknesses. The most frightening thing was that these seven people were only nascent soul cultivators. His disciples had so many leaving body cultivators, but none of them could fight them. Even if they weren't the strongest, Jun Mayan, these 7 people could sweep away all cultivators below the tribulation passing stage by themselves. These 7 people from the unfettered sect were too terrifying. They were still young, only at the nascent soul and leaving body stages. But what if they were given a little more time to grow? Would there be anyone in the world who could be their match? If they were to escape this time, what would happen to those who had tried to suppress them? Thinking of this, Jing Tiany's back was drenched in cold sweat. He suppressed the surging emotions in his heart and looked at Chu Xinyan. I wonder if Dingguo Marquis has any brilliant ideas. Chu Xinyan faintly sneered and a fierce light appeared in his eyes. If this Marquis didn't remember wrongly, the unfettered 7 devils didn't appear out of nowhere. In recent years, Soaring Dragon is not the only academy that has a close relationship with them. Perhaps I should put it another way. The place where they truly grew and rose to power should be in the Azure Blue Realm. Hearing this, someone asked in confusion, "Are you talking about the Starry School, Marquis?" They had indeed studied in the Starry School before, and had only amazed the world in Long Ting's Dear Cry banquet. But what does this have to do with us dealing with the 7 devils? Chu Xinyan looked deeply at the person who asked the question. Since those 7 little bastards can grasp our weakness, can't we do the same? When Long Ting is in trouble, Jun Mayan eagerly runs over to help. Take a guess, if the Starry School falls into the same situation as Long Ting, will the unfettered 7 demons still be able to sit still? Everyone looked at each other. Miao Yu, Xue Minglang, and the others immediately slapped the table and cheered. Marquis is indeed brilliant. However, there were also people who looked hesitant and said carefully, but the teachers and students of the Starry School are innocent. If we use their lives to threaten them, how are we different from demons? If that's the case, the demon-slaying alliance won't be able to stand. Chapter 2961. Dingguo Marquis scoffed and was about to speak. Suddenly, a man in Dingguo Marquis' military uniform ran in and whispered in his ear. Marquis, the child-sending forest has been burned. Everyone inside has been released. What did you say? The sending forest is so hidden and guarded by the army. How could they be let go? The sending forest contained the bloodline left by Dingguo Marquis using a secret technique, as well as the pregnant woman. These were his life-prolonging medicines and trump cards to ascend to immortality. How? How could it be destroyed so easily? The subordinate's voice trembled as he said, I don't know. It was Silverbow Holy Arrow Chu Moli and Earth-Shaking Mountain Qinjiu who suddenly appeared. I don't know how they found them. Chu Moli only used 1 arrow and destroyed the matrix. Those people all escaped. Our people wanted to stop them, but Qinjiu killed them with 1 punch. I risked my life to run out and report to you. Trash. Trash. What's the use of me keeping you? Chu Xinyan's eyes bulged as if he had gone crazy. He slapped the subordinate hard. The subordinate didn't even make a sound before he bled from his orifices and died. Everyone in the demon-slaying hall was dumbfounded. They didn't understand what had happened. Only Jing Tiany smiled and asked, Marquis, what's going on? Even if I did something wrong, you don't have to be so angry, right? Jing Tiany pretended to be concerned, but gloating flashed in his eyes. He guessed that the unfettered 7 demons must have done something to Dingguo Marquis. Chu Xinyan had said that he was incompetent as the alliance leader and wanted to see Mu Le Pavilion become a joke. But he didn't expect that he would become a joke one day. Chu Xinyan's veins bulged on his forehead. He finally suppressed his emotions and said stiffly, It's nothing. What does Jing Meng think of the plan I mentioned just now? The unfettered 7 demons are lawless and do whatever they want. If they continue to be so arrogant, there will be no place for the sects and clans of the Ziyun realm. Jing Tianyi said, I'll consider it. Shui clan leader, please control the teachers and students of the Starry School. Shui Minglang had long wanted to kill the unfettered 7 sons, so he naturally agreed without hesitation. Jing Tianyi continued, I heard that these 7 little demons are from the carefree sect of the Green Cloud world. Is there no one else in the carefree sect besides them? Emperor Xiahou Zun of the Xiahou Empire of the Southern Continent, who had been silent all this time, suddenly chuckled. I've personally investigated this. There were only 9 people in the carefree school. Apart from the 7 devils of the carefree school, there was also an old drunkard named Shi Qing. We have already ordered our men to control him. As for the other one, I believe that everyone here should know his name. He paused for a moment before slowly saying, Cultivation Continent's #1 swordsman, Luo Yunshao. Apart from Jing Tianyi, everyone gasped when they heard this name. Who was the most famous person in the cultivation world? There was no other candidate for this answer. It was the #1 swordsman, young Master Yunshao. It was not only because of his looks that all female cultivators were crazy about, but also because of his swordsmanship. His abilities had reached the peak and no one could reach him. However, Luo Yunshao had always kept a low profile and did not easily fight with others. That was why his name was not on the green sky roll. Chapter 2962. But if this person supported the Xiaoyao school, Jing Tianyi smiled. You don't have to worry about this. I already knew that young Master Yunshao is the unfettered 7 devils' unfettered martial uncle. But as far as I know, young Master Yunshao has left the cultivation continent for some matters and I'm afraid he won't be back for a short period of time. But if young Master Yunshao returns and finds out that we killed his martial nephew, so what if I know? Ye Yun, who was standing beside Jing Tianyi, snorted coldly and said, We're killing evil demons. We're doing this for the sake of the people and helping the righteous Dao. Young Master Yunshao has an illustrious reputation and is the role model of the swordsman of the righteous path. If he were to harm his fellow Taoists just to avenge a few evil demons, what would happen to his reputation? Ye Yun, don't be rude in front of these seniors. Jing Tianyi scolded her before continuing, however, my daughter's words aren't wrong. As long as we stand on the side of righteousness and let everyone in the world know that our crusade against the demons is a righteous and awe-inspiring act. Naturally, no one will be able to criticize us after this. When the cultivators below heard this, they nodded repeatedly. Alliance Master Jing is righteous. We are willing to follow you and punish evil. Jing Tianyi stroked his beard and smiled. He felt that most of the gloominess in his chest had been released. All that was left was his lofty aspirations and beautiful future. After this devil-slaughtering conference, Cleansing Joy Pavilion's name would spread far and wide. He, Jing Tianyi, would rule the world, and no one would be able to stop him. The meeting in the Demon Slayer Hall was temporarily dismissed. As for the idea of capturing all the teachers and students of the Starry School as hostages to threaten the unfettered 7 demons, the people in the Alliance all had different opinions. In the end, they did not voice their opinions. Chu Xinyan stepped into his bedroom and fiercely slammed his palm on the table. The level of the 100 Disaster City was even higher than the Dragon Soaring Academy's Flying Dragon City. Almost all the ornaments inside were equivalent to 7th grade spirit artifacts and above. But when Chu Xinyan slammed his palm down, that rank 7 table shattered with a loud bang. The maids and manservants who had been waiting in the room were so frightened that they all knelt down. Marquis, please calm your anger. Jing Tianyi, who do you think you are? How dare you mock me? Command me. After I kill Jun Mayan and obtain the Chaotic Tower, this Ho will let you and Mu Leg know the consequences of offending this Ho. Chu Xinyan gnashed his teeth as he finished reciting. Then, he turned his head and said sternly, "Bring that evil creature here for this marquee." Those who heard the order bowed and left. Soon, a white-haired man covered in blood was brought over and thrown in front of Chu Xinyan. Chu Xinyan takes 2 steps forward and ruthlessly steps on the man's chest. "Speak, where is Jun Mayan hiding? Is there anyone or any place related to her on this cultivation continent?" His sternum let out a crisp sound as it pierced his lungs. The man spat out a large amount of blood, and his body began to twitch violently. Chu Xinyan did not want him to die just like that, so he stuffed a pill into his mouth. After a while, he stopped vomiting blood. The man lay on his back, revealing an old face. A pair of turbid eyes looked at Chu Xinyan with ridicule and a cold smile. A hoarse voice spat out from his cracked lips, "Chu Xinyan, don't say that I don't know. Even if I knew, do you think I would tell you?" A furious look flitted across Chu Xinyan's face. Soon after, he faintly smiled. "Tianyu, you should understand your father's methods. Do you think it's that easy to die? Your father has 100 ways to make you wish you were dead." Chapter 2963. "And your mother, do you think I won't be able to find her if you hide her? Wait until I turn the entire continent upside down. I don't believe that bitch will still have a place to hide. At that time, don't regret not telling me the truth today." Chu Tianyu closed his eyes and ignored him. The veins on Chu Xinyan's forehead throbbed violently, and a cruel and ruthless killing intent surged in his eyes. He took off his gloves, grabbed Chu Tianyu's neck, and lifted him up. Good. I haven't seen you for a year, and my good son has become more and more courageous. Then let me break all the bones in your body inch by inch. I want to see how long you can last." As he spoke, Chu Xinyan grabbed Chu Tianyu's hand and bent it. Chu Tianyu looked like he was in his 70s. All the bones in his body were brittle and weak. He only needed a little bit of strength to break them in two. Chu Xinyan didn't even need to use spiritual energy. He laughed as he watched Chu Tianyu's face contort from the pain of his broken bones, and his body twitch. However, when he wanted to bend it a second time, the ground suddenly shook. It was originally night time. But at this moment, a dazzling white light suddenly flashed outside the window. In an instant, the dim palace was filled with dazzling light. Chu Xinyan was shocked. He no longer cared about torturing Chu Tianyu, and rushed out of the house. All the cultivators living in the demon-slaying hall heard the commotion and ran out. Everyone's gaze unconsciously turned to the east sky. There, a huge silver moon was slowly rising. It was clear and bright and dazzling. It was this gigantic silver moon that illuminated the pitch-black sky as bright as day. It also illuminated the stars in the sky, making them dim and dull. When the silver moon rose into the sky, 9 shining stars began to appear. Each star had its own unique color and shape. They seemed to be protecting the silver moon as they slowly revolved around it. In the night sky, there seemed to be the sound of a zither, as well as the deafening sound of a bell. The sky was clear for thousands of miles, and the stars and moon intersected, but it started to rain in the east. The rain was not transparent, but a milky white color that emitted specks of brilliance. Even looking at it from afar and feeling it, one could tell how rich the spiritual power and world's origin chi were in the drizzle. It was a gift from the heavens, a welcome rain from the heavens. Most of the rain fell on the heavenly Phoenix Mountain Range in a short period of time. The peak of the heavenly Phoenix Mountain Range, which was originally covered in ice and snow all year round and where not even a blade of grass grew, actually started to show signs of vitality. Even from a great distance away, one could hear the joyful and excited howls of the spirit beasts in the heavenly Phoenix Mountain Range. And this kind of gift, in the Demon Slayer Palace, or rather, in most of the cultivation continent, they could not enjoy it at all. They could only watch. However, at this very moment, the people of the Demon Slayer Palace could no longer care about jealousy. All that was left of them was shock and horror as they stared at the silver moon in the sky. After the sweet rain, the 9 stars stopped rotating. However, a silver line began to extend, slowly connecting with the silver moon. Boom! The earth shook again, and the sound of the zither and the bell rang in everyone's ears. It was as if they were announcing the arrival of some unprecedented event. 9 stars. Linked moon. Dingwa Marquis muttered, 9 stars linked moon, it appeared again, it appeared again. 2 years ago, the miracle of the 9 stars linked moon descended upon the 3 realms. Chapter 2964. But at that time, the 9 stars and moon was very faint and disappeared in a flash. In addition, many people did not know the true meaning of the 9 stars and moon, so no one paid attention. But Dingwa Marquis did, and so did the people of Mulu Pavilion. They knew that the person who triggered the 9 stars and moon was not on the cultivation continent, so the phenomenon disappeared in a flash. But now, the 9 heavens and moon appeared once again, and it was so earth-shattering and unprecedented. Who was it? Who triggered the 9 stars and moon? A name was on the verge of being uttered from everyone's lips. June. Mu. Yen. Dingwa Marquis gritted his teeth, his voice trembling. She is from the Yenwu continent. When the 9 stars and moon appeared, her name was not on the cultivation continent. She has the moon spirit root, the one and only moon spirit root in the world. Ye Yun frowned, unconvinced. What moon spirit root? Is it very powerful? No matter how powerful she is just a young girl in her early 20s. Dad, aren't you guys overreacting? However, no one answered her at all. Even Jing Tianyi didn't look at her at all. He clenched his fists tightly, and it took him a while to control his voice from revealing fear. He muttered, not only the 9 stars and moon, she advanced. A few days ago, she just advanced to the leaving aperture stage. Now she advanced again, the tribulation stage, the youngest tribulation stage in the cultivation continent. Shui Minglang's Adam's apple bobbed, his voice sharp. Demon. They are demons, the unfettered 7 demons are all demons. If we do not kill them this time, we will be doomed eternally. Eternally doomed. Dingwa Marquis suddenly said, do you still think that using the Starry School students to threaten them is an inhumane act? Su Chinkuan said, inhumane. How can we talk about kindness when we are about to lose our lives? That's right. We cannot allow a female demon like Mayan to continue living in this world. Yes, as long as we can kill her, kill the unfettered 7 demons, no matter what we do, it is all righteous and forced. Fortunately, we have confirmed the location of those demons. I really didn't expect that they would actually hide at the peak of the Phoenix Heaven mountain range. No wonder we couldn't find it after searching for so long. North Placating Marquis looked at Jing Tianyi and said, Alliance head Jing, give the order. His voice is faintly discernible, his pair of eagle-like eyes reveal a sinister and ruthless glint. Only when June Mayan's realm has yet to be completely stabilized, before the strength of the unfettered 7 demons has yet to increase again, can we cut the weeds and eliminate the roots, forever eliminating future troubles. Jing Tianyi took a deep breath and waved his hand. Everyone, listen to my command. We will head to the heavenly Phoenix mountain range immediately to kill the demons and raise the prestige of the righteous path. Slay the demons and raise the prestige of our righteous path. Slay the demons and raise the prestige of our righteous path. In the unclean abyss. Ning Su flew to the highest peak of the snow demon forest, gazing at the silver moon hanging high in the sky and the 9 stars connected to it for a long time. The demon-slaying sword was unsheathed and pointed at the moon in the sky. 9 stars and moon. Moon spiritual root. Ha! You're indeed Ning Yanxin's daughter. Sword Chi whistled and pierced the center of the moon. However, the silver moon was traceless, and the demon-slaying sword naturally returned without any success. Ning Su held the sword in his hand and said in a low voice, "Jun Mayan, wait for me. Wait for me to take your life with my own hands." You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.